It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas everywhere you go. Take a look in the 5 and 10, glistening once again with candy canes and silver lanes aglow. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. Toys in every store, but the prettiest sight to see is the holly that will be on your own front door. A pair of hop-along boots and a pistol that shoots is the wish of Barney and Ben. Dolls that will talk and will go for a walk, it's the hope of Janice and Jen. And Mom and Dad can hardly wait for school to start again. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas everywhere you go. There's a tree in the Grand Hotel and one in the park as well. That sturdy kind that doesn't mind the snow. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. Soon the bells will start, and the thing that will make them ring is the carol that you sing right within your heart.
Well, good evening and welcome this evening to the Telethon at Sanlando United Methodist Church. This is the Sanlando Christmas Telethon. My name is Jonathan and I'm the pastor of Sanlando United Methodist Church. And if you are normally a part of our church community, we're so glad that you have joined in this evening. And if you have just stumbled across us because of a friend's share, we're so grateful that you have called in. This is a telethon tonight, and the sense of the telethon is to bring us in that nostalgic, traditional way together as a church family and as a larger community during a time when many people have been very distant for many months of this year. So tonight, one of the things that we really hope is that as you are watching the telethon, that you'll hang in there. If you have to tune in and tune out from time to time, that's totally fine. But we hope that you'll chime back in to see what's going on, to listen to music throughout the evening, and to hear some of the messages and some of the pledge amounts and some of the names of people that are calling in to give. Tonight's telethon is totally about the community. The funds that are going to be raised this evening are in no way going to benefit Sanlando United Methodist Church. This is the time of the year when our church especially loves to be totally community focused. And we know that in this difficult pandemic year, many of you have not had the opportunity to volunteer in the community as you normally would. And so we want to, as we do every December as a church family, make a big push to reach out to different organizations in our local area that do great work, things that we know that our Lord Jesus would do. And so tonight, over these 3 hours, I want you to be completely confident that 100% of the gifts that you will pledge to this work will be going directly for the benefit of the 3 organizations that are here tonight. Tonight, our theme is 3 hours for 3 organizations for one purpose, which is because God gave his only son, Jesus Christ, as a savior of the world. And so all year long we serve him, and at Christmas time our mission is to really lift his name high so that everyone is invited into the healing, into the love, just into the generous lifestyle that Jesus invites each one of us to live in. Tonight, as you're watching, I know that you see a number across the bottom of your screen, and that is the number to call. So what happens is you, throughout the evening, whether it's once or multiple times over the evening, we want to hear from you. We want you to call 407-571 2100. And as you do, we have callers here at our phone bank, which you'll see later on this evening, that'll be taking your call. If you call and you get a busy signal, that is a good thing. That just means that other people are calling to contribute. Don't be discouraged. Just hang up and in a few moments call right back because the phones will surely open up. I see that we already have people calling in. Is that right? So we've already received at least one pledge this evening, so that's awesome. 2 pledges, so we'll hear about those in a little bit. Again, if you're tuning in with us at Sanlando's Christmas Telethon, we're here to raise money for different community organizations. And over this first hour, from 7 to 8, we're going to be hearing from an organization that does its work in Osceola County. And we're going to be talking about the Community Hope Center in Osceola County. And this evening, that brings me to my guest. Our guest for this hour is the Reverend Mary Lee Downey, who is the CEO, the Chief Executive Officer of the Community Hope Center. So we're so grateful that you're here, Mary, and I hope that you had a good drive up.
I'm so grateful to be here, and if you can't hear me well, let me know and I will move the mask off, but hopefully everyone can hear me.
Hopefully they can, and as you watch us this evening, I know we got people in our room that are making sure that we're heard audibly, so we'll just keep talking and we'll just take our direction from them.
Great.
So, Reverend Mary, so you drove up here. Tell us just a little bit about yourself. I know you're married and you have some children.
I am married. I have 3 boys. They are 3, 7, and 10, and I have been married since 2004, so someone do the math real quick, a little while.
Awesome.
And I'm also a deacon in the United Methodist Church, so this is so great to just be partnered with the United Methodist Church, and I'm very happy.
That is so cool. Tell us, because you mentioned you're a deacon, and a lot of people aren't familiar with what a deacon in the church is. What is the main role of a deacon in the United Methodist Church?
So there are 2 clergy orders, as you know, in the United Methodist Church. There's deacon and elder, and they are equal clergy orders. And deacons are called to word, compassion, and justice ministries. So primarily ministries that are sometimes within the church. There are lots of deacons who work inside local church doors, but a lot of us work outside the local church doing justice-type ministries in the world, trying to connect the church and the world, bringing hope to people who may have never learned about Christ and connecting them back to the church, but also teaching the people in the church how they can be a part of that process of bringing that hope to people who are in the world.
Amazing. And so it's awesome that you as a deacon have found such a home in your role as the CEO of the Community Hope Center. Mary is actually, you may recognize her because Mary is actually the Central Floridian of the Year for 2019. Tell us a little bit how that honor came to be in your life.
So that was actually a really big surprise. The Orlando Sentinel put out at the end of every year, so they're going to do it very soon, who they think maybe was a good community leader the year before. So at the end of 2019, they nominated me along with 7 other people, or 6 other people, I believe it was. There was a big dinner. This is all right before we could still have big dinners.
Right.
And I actually never anticipated winning that award. There were so many other just amazing people who have done just awesome things in our community. And so it was really just a huge shock to me to think that people in our community saw me that way, saw the work that we were doing at the Hope Center in a way that actually was moving the needle and actually making change, which is what that award is really about. I also know that the Orlando Sentinel has been, and I think will continue to be until the situation changes, really focusing on affordable housing and our lack of it within Central Florida. And so since that's a big part of my platform, a big part of the work that we do, I know that probably also played into that award as well.
Perfect, and so needed. So because we're so excited about supporting the Community Hope Center, just tell us, what is y'all's mission over there at the Community Hope Center?
So the mission of the Community Hope Center is to address the individual barriers that people experience when they are experiencing poverty or homelessness. So helping people that are in those spaces really figure out what is it that is perpetuating those situations in their life. So that's a big part of our work. It's a direct service agency in the sense that we connect people back to housing resources, obviously, as well as identification resources, healthcare resources, education resources. However, another big part of our work is we also help our community identify the systemic barriers that may be helping or keeping the community stuck in a situation of homelessness or poverty. So sometimes when people are experiencing homelessness or poverty, we have this idea that it's all their fault, that they may have made poor choices, that they may have done things that kind of got them in that situation. We don't believe that about the people that we serve. We believe that we're all responsible for our own actions, of course, and that does play a part of it sometimes. But there's also community-wide issues that perpetuates homelessness and poverty. And in our community, one of those major issues is that we have just an extreme lack of affordable housing and financially stable housing for people, especially who are low-wage workers in the hospitality and tourism industry.
Right. So you're down there in the area south of Orlando where there's a lot of people making low wages, but working for some very wealthy corporations, entertaining us all, and yet they cannot afford housing. So if you live in Central Florida and you spend any time on the news at all, you've seen lately, especially because of the pandemic, the issues with people that are becoming homeless or having inadequate housing because they've lived in hotels or motels that have now been abandoned. Is that something that is getting worse, or is that situation getting better?
So I think that particular hotel that's gotten just a lot of media play lately, because it has been such a difficult circumstance, we actually were dealing with that hotel struggling to maintain its finances in October of last year. So before the pandemic, they were already kind of struggling to make it as a company. The pandemic, of course, worsened that completely, because then it dried up all the hospitality business in the community for a little while. And when that was happening, the people who were living there were also unable to go to their jobs. And so no rent was being paid, and really it put that hotel owner in a really difficult situation. And it also got to the point where they weren't able to pay their utility bills anymore. They weren't able to pay their water, their electric. And so the people who were living there didn't have anywhere else to go. And so they were just kind of living in this place that the federal government would call unfit for habitation. That's the qualification for homelessness that they would put on that situation.
Wow.
And so when that happened, our organization was able to step in, utilize some funding through the CARES dollars that came through in July and August, and be able to start helping those families transition out of that hotel that was just, again, not a great living situation at all, into short-term housing options, so another hotel, unfortunately, with the goal of many of those families moving into long-term sustainable housing. So far, we've helped 8 of those families move into long-term housing, which is about 43 heartbeats.
Wow, that's awesome. So because we're getting calls and we're having pledges and we're talking some dollar amounts here tonight, I'm wondering if you can explain to our viewers what some specific dollar amounts do for individuals. How do those things help? Say if somebody makes a $25 or a $50 pledge, what does that go to?
Yeah, I think in general, when we look at the work that we do, there are many different options that your pledge would go towards. It goes towards helping with food insecurity. That's actually our number one need right now. The pandemic has brought such a huge food disparity and food insecurity to our community in ways that we've never experienced before. In the past, in our food pantries in our community, we would see maybe, 100 families a week. Now we're seeing thousands of people a week who are needing food and needing support in that way. Another support of your dollars goes to helping with the advocacy work that I was talking about. So when we have somebody who moves out of a hotel or a person who's experiencing street homelessness move into a home, there's a lot of advocacy work that needs to happen in between to make that happen. So that's getting them back their IDs, traveling with them to doctor's appointments so they can get the right medical diagnosis. There's so many steps in between just going from someone who's experiencing homelessness to someone who now gets to live in a home. And so your dollars help with that advocacy work. Another big one, I mentioned it, was IDs. So just in general, as we help people get back their IDs, there's cost involved with that.
Right.
It costs me every time we have to order a birth certificate to help somebody get their driver's license back. It costs us every time we have to order not a Social Security, I take that back, but a school board record. Sometimes those can cost us. So there's lots of different things we have to do to prove people's identity that actually has a cost equated with it.
Mm-hmm. You're just so close to the pulse of people that are just really on the margins and really have a difficult time. We know as adults that's hard for us as individuals, but on children that has an increased impact. During COVID, how have you seen situations for these families just at the very cusp of homelessness, if not already homeless? How have you seen the kids in those families be impacted in this situation?
I think the one thing that my teacher friends tell me is that the households that never turn on their cameras if their kids are doing virtual school are oftentimes probably the same households that are experiencing some of this disparity that I'm talking about.
Right.
They're not in stable living conditions. Their internet's not stable. Osceola has just done this really amazing thing, actually partnering with Advent Health to bring a smart bus out that would be able to help bring some of those resources to the kids that are in the hotels and motels to make sure they are being taken care of, because they're not going to school in the same ways that they were going to school before.
Right.
And some of that is because the parents that are experiencing homelessness and hotel living in that community, they want their kids home because they're also very afraid of the virus, and they may have immune compromised people, and so sending them back to school was not the best option for their household. But it also made it very difficult for their kids.
Right. Yeah. Something that Reverend Mary mentioned was something that I can relate to, which is, back early when the shutdown happened and we had to educate our children at home. I was so fortunate because I had a flexible schedule and I was able to be home with my kids. And our children's teachers went out of their way to video conference or video teach the kids throughout the day. And I'll never forget just how much that meant to me. But you hit on something that's a luxury that I had that people who may live in an abandoned motel or live in their car don't have, which is that I wasn't embarrassed to turn the camera on and let the background of our home be seen by the other students or by my children's teacher.
One of our clients, and I think she would be okay with me sharing the story without her name, they were doing everything by her phone. So she wasn't able to answer her phone during the day because her 3 children were sharing the phone so they could get on the internet, because that was really the only way that they were able to have access to it.
Wow. So, we know that kids' education just compounds every year, and just their access to different opportunities in life is based upon, educational success. And so we really are grateful that organizations like yours, and specifically yours, the Community Hope Center, is doing what they can to rehouse people and to, just not only maintain that dignity, but to also just, help position children for a future that is filled with hope. How did you get into how did you as a person find a calling into this type of work?
So I often say that the work at the Community Hope Center is actually a manifestation of my call. I am the founder of the Community Hope Center, and so in partnership with some other amazing people. I won't take all the credit, and also will give most of the credit to God because we were just being obedient. I think that that's it. Like, God has always just pushed on my heart. I've had some personal life experiences. I grew up in some spaces of poverty as a child, and so really experienced what that looked like it kind of firsthand. And those places where I had more support, those places where I had more wraparound services available to me as a person, that's what we wanted to provide to the people that we serve. We believe that every single person who is experiencing any kind of poverty in their life, and we all experience poverty. I think that's something that we should always remember, is there are people who experience physical poverty, but if we look in each of our hearts, we can also find places in our own lives where we have experienced some type of poverty. Maybe it's spiritual poverty. I know a lot of people are actually dealing with that right now because they're not being able to worship in the same ways that they used to, and so that's causing some spiritual poverty. It could be relationship poverty. It could be poverty around education. So when we think about the word poverty, it's not always just linked to not having enough money.
Right.
It's linked to places in our hearts and our lives where we don't have all the resources necessary to have a fully sustained heart and livelihood in many ways, and to have a whole life. And so the work of the Hope Center really is rooted around my belief that people are beloved, they are beloved to God, and that God wants them to have their wishes, hopes, and dreams, that God wants them to have the desires of their heart. And so really and truly building out the Hope Center and future name, Hope Partnership, which I'm still working on using, building that out for me was really just me being obedient to what I felt God was saying on my heart, but also providing to my community what I felt like if I had those resources, things could have gone quicker for me. Because the places where people built relationships with me, the places where people were able to support me, the family structures that I did have in place changed everything for me. I could be living a very different life if it wasn't for that. And so part of that is just wanting to give that back to my community.
Awesome. That's a wonderful way to say it. My friends, we're here. If you're tuning in with us, we're here with the Reverend Mary Lee Downey, who's the CEO of the Community Hope Center in Osceola County. And she's been telling us about the impactful work that the Community Hope Center does to help lift people out of poverty and provide food security and work them into situations where they have housing security for them and their families. I am seeing our phone bank, our phone answerers taking calls, and I hope that you're having an opportunity to call in to begin to make your pledges this evening for these good works. The number's on the bottom of your screen, 407-571-2100. Do we have any pledges that I could report at this moment? I'd love to hear some pledges. And one thing that I encourage you to do, friends at home, because one of the joys of this ministry is that we're able to use this time to kind of catch up with one another. So if you have had, perhaps in this year, when we haven't seen many of you because you've been safe at home, perhaps if you have had some, big anniversary in your house, a birthday, perhaps you're celebrating a new grandchild. I know we've got Russ and Sandy Denslow here. They just had a new their first grandchild, and so that's exciting. Perhaps you could leave us that message when you call and talk to the person on the phone so that I can share that if you're willing. When you call in, you're going to be asked if you would like your name to be shared publicly, and it's totally fine if you don't want it shared. And you'll also be asked if you'd like your pledge amount to be shared publicly, and it's totally fine if you don't want it shared. But I do encourage you to have your name shared regardless, and perhaps send a message to us, your church family, that I can share with everyone. So far, we've got pledges coming in from Kitty Cannon. That's an anonymous amount. So thank you so much, Kitty. We're so grateful for you and your gift tonight to our organizations. We've got a gift from Dewey Dixon for an anonymous amount. Dewey, one of my best friends, I'd love to just make fun of you right now, but I won't because we're on camera. You're amazing. Thank you so much for your pledge. I hope you're still watching. Maybe call in again, leave me a message, Dewey. We can start a little argument going back and forth here and have some fun. We've got a pledge from Sue Cross. So thank you, Sue, so much, an anonymous pledge. We've heard from Ruth Biven. Ruth, how are you doing? Good to hear from you. And she has given us a pledge of $100. So that's awesome. That makes a big impact for the things that we've been talking about up here with Mary. So thank you so much, Ruth, for your $100. Tim Holcomb, we've got you up here. Thank you so much for calling in, and you've given an anonymous pledge. We're grateful for that, and hope that you're doing well. And we've got a great pledge from Frances Joyner, who has given us a pledge amount of $300. Frances, thank you so much for calling in, Mrs. Joyner. Hope you and your daughter and granddaughter and sister are all doing well. My friends, there's no amount too big or too small to give. Everything makes an impact, and it's all very important. It's all needed. So at this moment, we're going to take a short break, and you're going to be able to hear some music from our worship band. So I hope that you enjoy the music. Continue to call in, and when we rejoin on the camera here, I'll be back at the phone banks, and I'd love to take a phone call. So stay tuned for some music and some more discussion with Reverend Mary from the Community Hope Center of Osceola County.
Oh, come, all ye faithful, joyful and triumphant. Oh, come ye to Bethlehem. us adore him. Oh, come, let us adore him, Christ the Lord. Oh, sing, choirs of angels, sing in exaltation. Oh, sing, all ye citizens of heaven above. Glory to God, glory in the highest. Oh, come, let us adore him. Oh, come, let us adore him. Oh, come, let us adore him, Christ the Lord. Oh, yea, Lord, we greet thee, born this happy morning. Jesus, to thee be all glory given. Word of the Father, now in flesh appearing. Oh, come, let us adore him. Oh, come, let us adore him. Oh, come, let us adore him, Christ the Lord. Oh, come, let us adore him. Oh, come, let us adore him. Oh, come, let us adore him, Christ the Lord.
And moving on, and a 1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
Rocking around the Christmas tree at the Christmas party hop. Mistletoe hung where you can see every couple tries to stop. Rocking around the Christmas tree, let the Christmas spirit ring. Later we'll have some pumpkin pie and we'll do some caroling. You will get a sentimental feeling when you hear voices singing, let's be jolly. Deck the halls with boughs of holly. Rocking around the Christmas tree, let the Christmas spirit ring. Later we'll make some pumpkin pie and we'll do some caroling. The sentimental feeling when you hear voices singing, let's be jolly. Deck the halls with boughs of holly. Rocking around the Christmas tree, let the crypt be holidays. Everyone dancing merrily in the new old
Here tonight, raising money over 3 hours for 3 organizations for one cause, and that's because God gave us his son, Jesus. Tonight, we've just finished the first 30 minutes of the telethon, and it is time for us to get an update on the pledges that have already come in. So let's pan over to Katie. This is Katie Hamilton, our Director of Children's Ministries. Katie, how many dollar amount of pledges do we have?
5,000.
Wow, $5,000. That is amazing. My friends, that is so encouraging. I got goosebumps. This is so encouraging. The first 30 minutes, we've already collected $5,000 in pledges. Tonight, 100% of the money given is going to help the 3 organizations in Central Florida that we're supporting this evening. The Community Hope Center of Osceola County, Empower, and the Christian Sharing Center. Right now, in the middle of this hour, we've been hearing from Mary Lee Downey, the CEO of the Community Hope Center of Osceola County. And before we return to have some final time of discussion with her, we're going to move back to our phone bank so you can see in live time what's really happening here in the back of the sanctuary at Sanlando. We have callers. We just had a shift change. So thank you to those who finished their first shift of answering phones. And now we're here with Debbie Gardner. We've got Keith McKean. We've got Erica Holloway from the first shift, still taking a call. And Leslie McKean is on deck, ready to take over. There's our camera. So I would love to answer a phone call, people. So the next phone that rings, I'm going to answer it. You get to talk to me directly. I hope that you're ready to contribute generously to the telethon, and we are so grateful for whatever gift you can give. We'd love to hear from some children. I know it's going to be getting later soon, and so we'd love to hear from some kids before they go to bed. Promise and Haven, are you there? Can you call in? I'd love to hear from any children, some youth. Love to hear from you. Our church during this pandemic time with so many people worshiping remotely has had people worshiping with us on Sundays from California to New York, people in the United Kingdom, people in Pakistan, India. We've had people worshiping online with us from all over the country and all over the world. So it's fair game. Anybody can call in. The number is 407-571-2100. I'm waiting. Dewey, you already called, but come on, you're my friend. Don't leave me hanging. Where's Jack Gutherman? Come on. He's already called. Call again. Where's my mother? Mom, aren't you watching? There we go. All right. I've got a call, and I'm going to try to get the script correct. Hello. And thank you for calling the Sanlando Christmas Telethon. This is Pastor Jonathan. May I have your name, please? This is Amy McCutcheon. So I am not, oh, that's right. Amy McCutcheon used to be Nungasser. I'm on the phone here, friends, with Amy McCutcheon. She was recently married, as you know, from her absence in worship. Well, hope you're having a wonderful day. Thank you so much for all that you're doing to help support our church. Tonight, I was wondering if you'd like to make a gift to the Sanlando Christmas Telethon. She would love to. I'm not following the script, so don't judge the calls by this. Amy McCutcheon, what would you like to pledge? $75. That is amazing. That's going to be very helpful. So $75, that is so great. And I'm supposed to ask for your permission to share this on the phone, but I've already shared it. So anyways, I'm breaching the covenant I set. But anyways, $75 from Amy. Thank you so much. And be sure to put that on a credit card because your checks sometimes bounce. All right, Amy? We know you too well, all right? Okay, love you. Thank you. Bye. You see how easy that is, friends? Thank you, Debbie. Just kidding. Amy's checks don't bounce. Nobody sue me. Stop. You see how easy that is to call in and make a pledge. And so when you call in and you make a pledge, you have 3 or 4 options to get your money into the church. The first is that you can go online to sanlando.org, click on online giving, go and type in Telethon into the other category and make your contribution through the website. It's simple, safe, and secure. That's how I give to the church, and so that's an easy way to do it. You can also write a check and either drop that check in the mail or drive it to the church, place it in the drop box of the office, or if you're coming to in-person worship on Sundays, you can leave that check in the offering baskets as you exit the sanctuary. Be sure to make all checks out to Sanlando and be very clear on the memo to write Telethon, because we're very grateful that we're able to, in our community, and support these 3 organizations with 100% of the funds that are collected tonight. So how are the caller? How y'all doing? Great. Great. Thank you. Ready for a call. So put them to the test, my friends. So we're gonna stream back up. Zach, I want to invite you onto the camera a little bit as we change locations here, because I've got a joke for you. I got a riddle for you. Okay. So this is Zach, everybody. He told me tonight that he was dressing in office professional. So this is his office professional. Zach, who is Rudolph the reindeer's favorite pop singer?
I think I need a microphone.
Who is Rudolph the reindeer's favorite pop singer?
Rudolph's favorite pop singer. It's got to be Taylor Swift, right?
It's not. Get ready for
It's
this.
not Taylor
Get ready
Swift?
for this. Beyonce. Beyonce. One more. I know I'm corny. One more. What is a child's favorite king at Christmas?
Jesus.
You're too churchy. A stock king. A stocking. Get it? A child's favorite king.
Do you have like a
at
drum to
Christmas?
go?
Stocking. I know. There's no drums. There's no drums. Give the mic back. Leave. Thank you. Wipe it down. Wipe the mic. Wipe the mic. Oh gosh. Zach, thank you, and thank you everybody for calling. I see the phones are getting busy again. That's great. Mary, we're winding down our time with you this evening, and we're so grateful. So if you're just tuning in, I want to remind you that we have the Reverend Mary Lee Downey from the Community Hope Center in Osceola County, and she's been telling us about the great work that her organization does, especially right now addressing the needs related to food insecurity and housing insecurity. Mary, you mentioned a little bit earlier that your organization's, going to kind of have a shift in focus or a little bit of a rebranding in the coming year, and because you do such great work, I hope our congregation's able to follow you in that story. So tell us a little bit about the future vision that you're casting for the organization, and then also tell us beyond financial giving and thinking non-pandemic times when the vaccine is in distribution. How can people in our congregation and other people of goodwill help your organization?
Thank you. We are in the middle of changing our name, and we are doing that. It's very weird to do that so soon. We're almost 10 years old now, but as we've been doing this work for the last 10 years, and probably about 5 years in, we recognized that our work actually wasn't confined to a center anymore. And so when we made the name Community Hope Center, we really were focusing on the idea that we were going to be this just really on the ground direct service agency for just one particular area of Central Florida. But what we've learned is that to end homelessness and restore hope, it's actually a regional effort. And so we entered in about 2015, 2016 into the continuum of care and into the regional effort to end homelessness within the entire Central Florida. When we did that, that really opened us up to doing a lot more work outside of just what happens on the 192 corridor. And so we really felt we didn't want to run away from the idea of the Community Hope Center. And so we are actually still sort of keeping that name. What we decided to do is we decided to give ourselves a new name and a new logo, which will be coming out. So when you start to look for us in the new year on Facebook and things like that, you'll have to find us by the new name, which is Hope Partnership.
Got it.
Now, Hope Partnership oversees several different programs, and one of those programs is the Hope Center. So we still have our visual spot in our building that does the work right there on 192. But it also opens us up to do more of Hope Centers in other places. And it also makes our name less confusing because we have some other Hope-type organizations in Central Florida. We have the Hope Community Center in Apopka, which is an amazing organization.
Right.
We have Hope Helps here closer in you guys' area. And so in a lot of ways, we wanted to try to find a way. We couldn't drop Hope. We asked all of our stakeholders, can we change it completely? And we were very happy that 100% of them said, we see you as the people offering hope to our community, so you cannot take that out of your name. So we have Hope Center, which will still do its work. But we also will have Hope Cares, which will focus more on those who are experiencing street homeless and need emergency diversion services as quickly as possible. So kind of like the work that we did for those who were living in that hotel we talked about earlier. Then we also will have a program called Hope Works. Hope Works is directly connected to our employment program that we just were granted with Advent Health. We were granted $600,000
Wow.
to do it over 3 years, a labor-ready bridge housing future career program for people who are experiencing homelessness. So kind of taking people to get income today and building them up to the fact that they can have a career for their future. And so that's going to happen. That program is funded by Advent Health for the next 3 years. And so that falls under Hope Works. And then our final one, and the one that I'm the most passionate about, but also takes the most financial support ever to raise, is Hope Builds, which is that we believe firmly that nonprofits and community leaders and community organizations should get into the game of helping to build some of the affordable housing and financially stable housing necessary to meet the need in our community, in the hopes that if we are able to step into that realm and do some of that work, that others will see the need and see that it's possible and will also step into that with us. One of those things include looking at a hotel conversion, so maybe converting a hotel that maybe ends up closing during the pandemic,
Right.
Converting that into some apartments. But also, we were very graciously given 5 acres of land by the Florida United Methodist Conference about 2 years ago that we would also like to do a new construction build on as well. So overall, just Hope Partnership is going to take all of the things from someone who's experiencing homelessness at the very beginning on the street, all the way and all the ways that they need to get them what we call self-determined success and sustainable for their life.
Wow, I love that. I love those terms: self-determined success and sustainable for their life. So, yeah, that is so amazing. When we hear the term affordable housing, I think that's used publicly in some different ways, because there's different types of affordable housing, and by that I mean there's different ways that it's funded. In Central Florida, I know there's a lack of affordable housing, more so even than many other metropolitan areas in our country. In Central Florida, how is affordable housing funded?
So in Florida, in the state of Florida, what we call affordable housing, the technical term of that, is related to tax credit programs.
Okay.
So state tax, and it can get very convoluted very quickly, but I'll try to give an overview, very just base overload. And if anybody wants to know more, they can email me and I can walk them through all of it. But basically, there are different developers who compete with the state of Florida for different amounts of tax credits. Those tax credits are then used to be sold to other folks who become, it's a whole thing. It's a whole tax credit deal. It means that the people who live there have to make a certain wage and have to be in a certain income bracket to be able to stay in those apartments, which is helpful for a very large population of our community. Mm-hmm. It also is still too expensive for the people that we are serving, right, especially those who are those low-wage workers in the tourism and hospitality industry. Right. And so I like to say a lot of times financially sustainable housing, because we want housing that people are able to stay in for the long term.
It's a good point. And so we know that when we partner with organizations like yours that help provide affordable housing, we're not just providing something free for people. People, individual residents, families also have to pay a considerable amount of money to have affordable housing. And that's very difficult, especially if you're making minimum wage or in the informal economy. Yeah,
I think what's important for us to realize as a region that I think a lot of people haven't seen yet is that we thrive on our low-wage workers. That's how the magic happens in Central Florida.
Yeah.
Our tourism and hospitality industry doesn't work without people who are willing to make minimum wage. And so luckily for us in the state of Florida, minimum wage is going to be lifted to $15 based on the last election, which I'm very excited about, and I think that will help. Not to be political, I'll try to not be too political on that, because I know some people will disagree. But I do believe that that will help. But I also believe that for so many years, we actually as a community never planned for people who were low-wage workers to have sustainable housing. Right. We planned that people would come in and work low-wage jobs, and that eventually they would move up the career ladder, which is everyone's hope, right? Everyone's hope is that you start there. But what we didn't recognize is that as some people did move up that career ladder and maybe were able to purchase homes, all these single-family homes that we see built around Central Florida, that we still needed people who worked those low-wage jobs to continue doing that work. And so as a community overall, we just did not adequately plan to provide housing for that population. And I truly believe that that is the case. We are right now in Central Florida in a deficit of 77,000 units for people who are low-wage workers in the tourism and hospitality industry and other low-wage jobs.
Wow, that's a pretty remarkable number. And so we can see that the problem easily, and everybody needs a place to live, especially they need a place to raise their family and a place to be safe and to avoid a lot of the other issues that come from homelessness. And so when we contribute to the Community Hope Center and help provide people with affordable housing, we prevent a whole host of other issues that we may not even be talking about tonight. We help save people's health. We help prevent the violence sometimes that comes with living on the streets, the vulnerability to bad actors and different things like that. And we help avoid the cycle of criminality that comes from just not being able to afford a place to live or a place to keep your car.
Absolutely.
So we think, especially in this Christmas season, we're preparing for our Lord's birth, and we know just the magnanimous circumstances that the Virgin Mary and Joseph faced as they traveled to a different region to be taxed, and when they arrived, there was no place for them to give birth to Jesus in a dignified way. And so God was born in the middle of a manger in a place where everybody was accessible, where he was accessible to everybody. So we can all relate. Jesus knows himself the vulnerability of people that are outside. And so, Mary, we really appreciate that you've given us so much time tonight to paint this just a beautiful picture of not only the passion and the heart that you have to advocate for those that are in need and organize for them in your county, but we also appreciate the fact that you have put your faith into practice by starting an organization that specifically addresses two of the main things that everybody on this planet needs: enough food and adequate housing. So we're just so grateful for you tonight. And as we close out your hour, I would just love to perhaps to have a couple updates of any pledges, if we have any more of the green cards to report, because I know I want to share the good news of those that have really committed to making a difference in this cause during this Christmas season. So thank you, Cheryl. Awesome. So we've got a pledge reported here from Alice Kapik for a very generous $100. Thank you so much, Alice. Lois Warmersley has called in and given us a pledge for $100. Thank you so much, Lois. The Hamilton family has called in and made a generous pledge for $120. So thank you to the Hamiltons. Katie, did you twist some arms there? Did you send some text messages? That reminds me, if you know somebody in our church or in the community that's perhaps, and especially maybe not even affiliated with our church, but you know that they would love to be able to contribute to address the needs that we're discussing tonight, don't hesitate right now to text them. Just let them know that they have an opportunity for 100% of the funds given to make a difference for people in need. 407-571-2100. Text them that number and call. Also, if you're watching this through Facebook, please, if you haven't already, share it on your Facebook page that you're watching so that other people see. We've had an anonymous pledge from Gail Webb. Thank you so much, Gail, for calling in. We've got another anonymous pledge from Steve Parrish. Thank you so much, Mr. Parrish. Very appreciated. We've had a call-in and an anonymous pledge from Dr. Tina Calderon. Thank you, Dr. Calderon, for calling in. Dr. Calderon is on our school board here in Seminole County. She's a great friend of our church, wonderful person doing great work in the community. Thank you for being a part of this, Dr. Calderon. We've got an anonymous pledge. So anonymous meaning that the name will be held anonymous, but the pledge was for $1,000. So that's great. I can see how our number has really soared there. So thank you to whomever called in with the heart and the resources for that $1,000 gift. Your impact is amazing. Terry Strelakis, thank you for calling in with your anonymous gift. So thank you so much. Terry is a wonderful person. Obviously you know her as a member of our church. She also works in our front office. So Terry, thank you. Jack Gutherman has called in, and I see he's found his way into the sanctuary. Jack Gutherman has called in. I think he's going to answer phones here in a few minutes. Jack's called in and made an anonymous pledge. So thank you, Jack. So appreciate that. I'll still probably try to tease you tonight or arm wrestle with you, one of the two. The McKenzie family, thank you so much for calling in with your generous pledge of $300. And the McKenzies left a message, love JT and the hat. So I could interpret this as love JT's hat, but I'm going to interpret it as love JT and JT's hat, all right, if that's fair. So thank you for leaving that message. And like I said, anybody, leave us a message and just don't cuss and I'll read it, okay? Don't cuss or don't talk bad about me and I'll read it. If you talk bad about Cheryl or Zach or Mitchell, I'll read that, but not me. Mitchell, have you called in yet? How you doing back there? Okay, we're waiting. Mr. John Dash, thank you so much for calling in and leaving us your generous pledge of $150. And we've had a call in from Joy Bowen with a generous pledge of $75. So thank you, Joy, for calling in. Remember, as we wind down this first hour, this night is 3 hours for 3 organizations for one reason, which is that God gave his only son, Jesus Christ. And so we are providing this opportunity to our church family and to the larger community to share gifts tonight with the Community Hope Center of Osceola County, who we've been hearing about for the last hour. Over the next hour, we'll be hearing from Empower, which is a local organization based out of Longwood. And so we're looking forward to having that. So let's wind it down here, Mary. Just a personal question. So what are you all doing for Christmas? Mary's married. She's got three boys. So that's crazy going on. So you're probably doing a lot of gift wrapping. What are you looking forward to this Christmas?
Well, I mean, I think for me, my family always really enjoys the Advent time. So we have multiple Advent calendars in our house because you can't share one chocolate calendar among 3 boys. And then there's the Aldi cheese calendar that everyone should get.
Aldi cheese calendar.
Oh my goodness, yes, the Aldi cheese calendar. Get it next year. I'm telling you, it's worth it.
That. Yeah.
It's like $8. It's worth it. But also just, we try to light our Advent candles every single week. And so we're kind of missing that experience of getting to do that in our local congregation, as I know many are here probably missing the same things. And so I'm just looking forward to, though, because of the pandemic, I'm trying to find the areas of hope. And that's that usually this time of year for me is crazy because I'm doing all kinds of things, trying to get everything ready. And so many of the things that we would normally be doing as both working at a nonprofit and working at a local church, some of those things are really slowed down. And so it gives me an opportunity to spend time with my kids. I mean, it'll be one of the only years that I haven't worked a Christmas Eve service and been there till midnight, which I know a lot of our staff know what that's about around here, I'm sure. And so getting to put the kids to bed and do those things. And so I'm just hopeful, and I hope everybody else can find places of hope in the midst of all of this difficult time that we're in.
Awesome.
And I'm grateful to you and your church and everyone who's pledged. It just really warms my heart. So thank you so much.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. So I hear there's a phone call for me, and we're going to ask them to hold the line for just a second because Reverend Mary is going to go back to her family tonight, and before she goes, I'm going to send her with just a quick prayer. So we're going to have a quick prayer, then I'm going to take a phone call, and then we're going to go to music for a music interlude, all right? So Let's pray. Lord God, we thank you so much for the Community Hope Center in Osceola County and for their awesome ministry, for the awesome impact that they have, and for the strong vision that they have in the coming year to continue to reach people with the needs that each one of us has. God, we ask that Reverend Mary and her entire team just be lifted with hope this Christmas season so that they can be refueled to just spread your love and joy to the people that they come across in their daily work. Just bless them and bless these funds that have been given to support the work going on there. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Amen. I'm going to say goodbye to you, and I appreciate you being here. We look forward to partnering more with you in the future.
Thank you so much. Y'all have fun.
Oh, okay. All right. We're coming back here to the phones, and I've got an important phone call I hear. Hello, this is Pastor Jonathan. Oh, guess what? It's Promise and Haven. How are you, Promise and Haven? You're doing good. Whoa! Where did you get that? Promise and Haven are donating $170. That's amazing. Woo! Did Grandma stop by today or something? Is Nana in town? What? That is very generous, girls. Well, thank you so much. And we've just been talking here with Reverend Mary, who's been helping people get food and get housing. And so when I think about how important those things are, that's why we do it. It's because of family. So I love you, girls, and I thank you so much for having the heart to give to other people at Christmas, okay? All right, love you both, and it's time for bed. All right, good night. Bye-bye. That's amazing. And so $170 from Promise and Haven, so I couldn't be more proud of that and curious as to where they got that. Equally curious, but that's okay. No, we are trying to teach them the value of $1 at an early age, so they do have their own money. So that's very good. So there's nobody too young to call. So especially if you're at home right now with your children or grandchildren, it's a great opportunity to teach them how to give and to remind them that while perhaps many of our lives have moved on relatively normally, despite this difficult year, because of our jobs and because of the resources that we have, Reverend Mary has pointed out tonight that for many, many people in Central Florida, that's not the case. And so this is a great time to be able to teach the young people in our houses that it's truly more blessed to give than to receive. So we're going to take a break and from talking, and we're going to go to music this evening. So we look forward to hearing from our worship band. Enjoy.
City sidewalks, busy sidewalks, dressed in holiday style. In the air, there's a feeling of Christmas. Children laughing, people passing, meeting smile after smile. And on every street corner, you hear silver bells,
Silver bells,
silver bells,
silver bells.
It's Christmas time in the city. Ring-a-ling,
Ring-a-ling,
hear them ring.
hear them ring.
Soon it will be Christmas Day. Strings of streetlights, even stoplights, blink a bright red and green as the shoppers run home with their treasures. Hear the snow crunch, see the kids bunch. This is Santa's big scene. And above all the bustle, you hear silver bells,
Silver bells,
silver bells.
silver bells.
It's Christmas time in the city. Ring-a-ling,
Ring-a-ling,
hear them ring.
hear them ring.
Soon it will be Christmas Day.
Hark the herald angels sing, glory to the newborn King. Peace on earth and mercy mild, God and sinners reconciled. Joyful all ye nations rise, join the triumph of the skies. With angelic hosts proclaim, Christ is born in Bethlehem. Hark the herald angels sing, glory to the newborn King. Christ by highest heaven adored, Christ the everlasting Lord. Late in time, behold him come, offspring of the Virgin's womb. Veiled in flesh, the Godhead see, hail the incarnate deity. Believes as man with man to dwell, Jesus our Emmanuel. Hark the herald angels sing, glory to the newborn King. Hail the heaven-born Prince of Peace, hail the Son of Righteousness. Light and life to all he brings, risen with healing in his wings. Mild he lays his glory by, born that men no more may die, born to raise the sons of earth, born to give them second birth. Hark the herald angels sing, glory to the newborn King. Oh, hail the heaven-born Prince of Peace, hail the Son of Righteousness. Light and life to all he brings, risen with healing in his wings. Mild he lays his glory by, born that man no more may die, born to raise the sons of
Welcome back to our Sanlando Christmas Telethon. I'm here with members of our worship band, and this evening specifically, I'm standing here with Katie Hamilton, who is going to give us, after the first hour of our telethon, an update on our progress toward raising funds at the moment. So where are we, Katie?
We are at 7,000.
Wow, so that is amazing. Praise God, that is so awesome. So 30 minutes ago when we gave our an update, we were at 5,000. And so in 30 minutes, we've raised another 2,000. So we're at 7,000 and we're still going up, amen? Because tonight we're here to raise money over these 3 hours for 3 different organizations for one reason only, and that's because God gave us his son as the Savior of the world. At Christmas time, Sanlando United Methodist Church has a rich history of being generous with different organizations in our local community and in Central Florida that do awesome good works on behalf of Jesus to empower people to have enriched lives. And so this year, because of the pandemic, we know that many of you have not been able to go out and volunteer as you normally would in certain places because of your safety and because of different types of shutdowns, but you still have wanted to give. And I'm so grateful that all throughout this year, not just tonight, but all throughout this year, members and friends of our church have been so generous to reach out and to help people. And one of the greatest ways that we can do that is financially. And so this evening, we just spent an hour hearing from the Community Hope Center of Osceola County, and now we are shifting to the second organization that we're featuring, and that organization represented is called Empower. And so this evening, as I take my seat, I'm going to invite the 2 representatives from Empower to come forward and sit down, and they're going to prepare to visit with us and share with us. This evening, as we meet Empower, we're going to be talking to Anna Kessick, who I've just met for the first time this evening. She is the president and CEO of Empower. Welcome, Anna. May I call you Anna?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Thank
welcome.
you very much.
So good to have you here. And we also see seated next to her is someone who may look relatively familiar to you. This is Jasmine Flores. So, hey, Jasmine.
Hi, happy to be here.
Jasmine, you are say your title exactly.
I am the development manager at Empower.
All right.
And longtime SUMC member.
Yeah, so Jasmine, of course, as we recognize, is a longtime member of our church. She grew up in our church. She has been on staff at our church as the director of children's ministries, and she's had some other professional work since then, and now she has landed to make a great impact at a local organization which has offices right here in the city of Longwood, an organization called Empower. So we're so grateful for Jasmine. Of course, we know her family. We know they're all members of this church. And so I don't know if they've called yet or not to give a pledge, but Jasmine.
Mom, if you're watching, somebody's going to take your phone call soon.
Yeah. So we expect and hope to hear from Noel and Bethany. We hope to hear from Tony and Betty and Haven. Are you out there with some dollars?
She should be awake still.
Yeah, you get an allowance. I've heard. And of course, Matt, if you're listening, we'd love to have you call in as well. Mason and Ava, we'd love to hear from you. So got Jasmine and Anna. Now, as we begin, I just want to talk to you a little bit, Anna, because people in our church are probably not as familiar with Empower as they are with the community, the Christian Sharing Center, which we're going to hear from next. However, people in our congregation have been involved at Empower in the past. And so we want to make sure that we increase that involvement tonight by hearing about your organization. So tell us about your mission statement and what it is that you all do.
Well, the mission statement's long, but let me just tell you, we inspire life's potential. That's it in a nutshell. So our roots are actually here in Seminole County. That's where we started in 1994. Some of you may have remembered us as Intervention Services, but we rebranded about 6 years ago to Empower. And we recently, 2 years ago, just merged with the Grove, which is also here in Seminole County. So maybe that will ring a little bit of a bell. But our main service lines are behavioral health. We do mental health treatment, psychiatric treatment, and substance use disorder treatment. And we also are a part of the child welfare system. We
Okay.
do adoptions. We work with children once they came into the system, called intake and placement. And then the program that you're all probably most familiar with is the Village, and that is here in Seminole County. I know your congregation has worked a lot with us. That's a independent living housing program for young adults that have aged out of foster care or have found themselves homeless. So we can serve 16 youth there. It's a residential program. And then the Grove is a substance use disorder program, residential for youth 13 through 17 that have a substance use disorder diagnosis. I always say, nobody asked to be born into a family that doesn't love them appropriately, and no one asked to be born with mental illness or substance use disorder. And for me, I love getting up and going to work every day. It's my passion. I've been there for 12 years, and if we can make a difference in one individual, I'm happy. But I know we serve about 12,000 a year, and I know we make a big difference in our community. But we are
Wow.
statewide as well with some of the services that we do.
So statewide, you serve about 12,000 people a year.
We do, and how we've managed to do that is we were ahead of the curve for COVID for once. We went to a telehealth platform for all of our behavioral health services about six years ago. We've performed over 900,000 services via telehealth. We actually closed all of our physical office locations so that we can help eliminate the stigma and bring it. I was looking for my cell phone. It's with me all the time, but just bring the services right to wherever that individual is. So
Right.
that was big for us. We didn't have to skip a beat. We were ahead and prepared for when COVID hit.
Wow, that is so wonderful. And many of you know my wife is a licensed clinical psychologist, so I directly know the importance of destigmatizing mental health issues in the community. Because they're so very real, and they onset typically in young adulthood. And so your organization serves people in that population. So just repeat for all those that are listening at home, kind of what is the demographic, the age range, and the life stage of the people that you interact with?
In Empower as a whole, particularly for our behavioral health, it's 6 years old till they go home to God.
Okay, wow.
So
Full life care, yeah.
Yes, and we do right now. I'd like to just kind of put the word out there. We have free mental health and psychiatric services and substance use disorder services right now. When COVID hit, the federal government gave Florida some money, and so you just have to be at or below 150% of the poverty level, and it includes therapy, psychiatric services, and medication if you need it.
Wow, so very, very strong resources for our local community. I'm hearing lots of phone calls, so I'm assuming some pledges are coming in. Zach, would you like to grab the basket of pledges and perhaps come and Anna will share the mic with you, and maybe you can read to us some of the names if they've been given, and some of the amounts if they've been given. We'd love to hear from some of that. As Zach is preparing to do that, just tell us a little bit, Anna, if you will, what does a donation of 25, 50, 100, 1,000, what does that donation do?
Oh, it can do so much. If I just go back to the Village, which is the program that you're probably most familiar with, $25 gift card could buy gas for a youth trying to get to school or to work if they happen to have their own car. $100 is a therapy, an hour of therapy for a client that might not have the funds. $1,000. That I just stop and think, because that's a lot
for
for
of
us.
things, yeah.
No, but there's so many, particularly at the Grove, when we merge with the Grove, there's so many needs that we have out there. Kids are in care when it's their birthday, and they're away from their families when they're getting substance use treatment. So just be able to give them a birthday party at the Grove. I mean, there's so furniture for the youth when they move out on their own. We provide them with all of that. There's just so many different ways we could use it.
Wow. Yeah, just think of that. We think of, as Zach makes his way forward, we just think, Anna mentioned even your contributions, being able to provide a birthday party for a young person who is in a residential facility away from the comforts of home. And perhaps, my guess is, unfortunately, in many homes, birthdays probably just aren't really celebrated anyway. And so we think about our own lives, and especially as we approach here Christ's birthday, which is the catalyst for everything that we're doing to celebrate the birth of Christ. We think of the ways that we honor him on his birthday, and you think of the ways that you love to be celebrated or celebrate your own family on their birthdays. And so, yeah, just to know that there's an organization in town that in the scope of the holistic care that they're providing, specifically celebrate somebody on the day that they were born. This is something very Christ-like about that. So thank you so much for doing that. Zach, why don't you share the mic and see what we've got going on here? You can take your mask down.
Well, we've got a couple of awesome donations, and one of them, Jasmine, I think you were heard, because Betty and Tony Bowers, $75 from them. So thank you so much. Also, Kelsey Hunt donated $25.
Ooh, Kelsey.
And we have an anonymous name, but the pledge was $30.
Nice.
And another anonymous one for $300, and another one for $150. So a lot of anonymous names, but great amounts. And like Pastor Jonathan said, all of these count, all of these are important. All of these will get you into heaven, right?
These, yes, I
is there an amount that's too low that can't get you into heaven?
I won't say, but I couldn't have said it better myself, Zach. So
Promise and Haven, $170.
We heard that
now, is
one.
that coming out of them, or is that
no?
your...
I have. That's a very strange number, 170. So I think they've squirreled that away, like do little acorns, and are giving that away.
And Leah Downing, shout out to our youth. Leah donated $25.
So Leah, I think Leah is the first youth, the first high schooler that has called in and made a pledge. So Leah, she's actually beginning in January, our youth representative on church council. So Leah, good job leading by example. So
if there are any other youth watching, you call and you want to talk to me, you can talk to me. If you don't want to talk to me, well, then we have problems. And
why wouldn't you want to talk to somebody dressed like this?
That's right. I want to talk to you.
Actually, I think he needs to talk to somebody.
Another anonymous, $1,000.
Whoa! Don't pass that one too soon. Thank you, whoever anonymously gave that. All gifts matter, but we appreciate that the extreme generosity there. So thank you.
And the last one is Charlie and Donna Conister for an anonymous amount, but these are all keep coming in. The phones are keep ringing, so we just ask that you can continue to call. And we are here. If you get a busy signal, just wait a moment and call back again, and we will have somebody there to answer the phone for you.
Yes, and the Knatzer family, thank you for your anonymous gift. Hope you're doing well. So haven't seen you in a while. I trust that you're doing well, and so it's good to hear from you here tonight. So that's wonderful. Thank you, Zach. Zach, let me stay up here because I like to ask you jokes. So let me find my next joke. Okay. Oh gosh, this may get me in trouble. What's worse than Rudolph with a runny nose?
What's worse than Rudolph
with
a
a
runny nose?
Frosty the Snowman with a hot flash. Okay. What did the Christmas tree say to the ornament?
You can hang around here.
Close. Quit hanging around.
Quit
Close,
hanging
close.
around.
If you've got a great Christmas joke, obviously mine are corny, but I'm trying not to get fired, so they're appropriate for children. If you've got a great Christmas joke and you call in, just leave it with the person that answers the phone. I'd love to read it up here. So, Zach, thank you so much.
And Zach said I could borrow that suit, and you're going to let me borrow that hat because
Yes.
you're rocking it.
Thank you. Yeah, Zach, that suit it is a lot, and it could be the source of a lot of other conversations, but because we're on a mission tonight, it just won't be. So as we continue here, if you're just tuning in, we are here with Anna Kessick. Am I pronouncing that right? Mm-hmm. Who is the president and CEO of Empower, which inspires life's potential right here in Longwood. And where, of course, she's accompanied by Jasmine Flores, who's the development manager at Empower. And so we're grateful for them. This question is for one or for both of you. Can you mention a little bit of how your organization has had to pivot in its approach to its work because of COVID-19?
Well, I did mention a little bit, we were ahead of the game with the telehealth, but having the residential program, both the Village and the Grove, we had to make sure our staff and our youth were safe and tested. So we had to quickly, learn the CDC protocols and come up with some ways to make sure we're safe. And knock on wood, we have been. We've only had one positive in our programs since March. And it's been difficult on the staff. We've tried to, really rally around them to make sure that they're safe and everybody's doing the precautions and all that. The hard part, I think, for the youth is we've not allowed anybody on campus other than folks that are working. So parent visits, or they can't leave. If they leave, we have to quarantine them when they come back. So we try, it's usually about a 90-day program where they're in the substance use disorder program. So that's been a little bit challenging, a lot of, FaceTime and creativity around that. A lot of, the therapists were really helping them there, and especially at the Village. The Village is for young adults 18 through 23, and as we all know, because we were all that once, trying to tell them you can't just come and go, and you got to, stay in your room, and a lot of them lost their jobs because they were those minimum wage jobs that we were talking about earlier, that you were talking about. So they had to. We had to get very creative. What she would like probably to talk about is the volunteers, and getting folks involved with us has been a challenge too, in fundraising.
Thanks. So like Anna mentioned, in terms of volunteers, and many of you guys in our congregation have volunteered with our organization at the Village. We've kind of had to pause a lot of those in-person opportunities and kind of pivot, and right now we're currently accepting letters of encouragement that we're able to send to our residents at the Grove and the Village, and let them know that we're thinking of them. And especially now during the holidays, we have a actually holiday gift campaign right now where we're collecting gifts to distribute to those youth and young adults. So we're happy to accept some holiday cards if that's how you'd like to get back to our organization, but we have paused volunteer opportunities.
Okay. So Jasmine, COVID will be brought to a close at some point. There will be a vaccine and distribution, and the community will open up again. How can we as a church and as individuals stay connected to what's going on and what's going to go on with Empower, so that outside of financial contributions, how can we know how to be involved?
Yeah, following our Facebook page. We're on social media, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Many of you guys follow us, or we have you on our email distribution. We will be making everyone aware of things that we're up to. We have a Stuff Your Face race that will be happening, fingers crossed, next September, along with other fun opportunities, hopefully some more on-campus opportunities as COVID slows down.
One of the things that I have really just touched me in terms of just the interpersonal work that Empower does is with the Village, which Anna has talked about so much about what the Village does. So the Village, serves as transitional housing for young people that are 18 to 23 or 24, right? And so many of these, if not all, have aged out of the foster care system. And so we think about, wanting to have an impact with our contributions in a real meaningful way during the holidays. And when I think about that, I think, my own family, and I think of the family that I came from, and, feel so grateful to be able to have grown up in one home my entire life. Foster children are oftentimes, and my wife used to work in the foster care and adoptive services when we lived in California, and so we know personally that foster children often move foster homes as much as a dozen or more times before they finally do age out. So all the transition that goes on there, and to think that graduation from high school and turning 18 does not solve the problem, does it? It begins a new one. Who is there to provide the basics that every human needs at that age? when you've just graduated from high school and you are not yet trained in a vocation or a profession, you don't have a nuclear family to fall back on, you're honestly probably just in even a more vulnerable position than you were when you were still going from foster home to foster home. And so we think about the young people in our society, which are our future. And young people are naturally, by just God's spirit and creation, they're filled with purpose, they're filled with excitement, they're filled with potential. They're meant to do great things. But if we don't have a foundation to offer them, to launch from, they statistically won't end up doing those great things. And their life can be difficult. So this Christmas time, think about your own life and the many blessings that you have from just the gift of family and of home. Not everybody has that, and maybe some of you watching don't, and you can really resonate and empathize with this need. If God has placed you in a position where you're able to really give to an organization that's able to make a difference in the life of a young person whose entire future is ahead, this is a great hour to call in and to make that gift because it's so important. We're going to transition to some music now. We'll give a few minutes for our music team to get in place. And as we do, I'm going to give Jasmine one very corny joke. I shouldn't preface them with that they're corny because I think they're awesome. Jasmine, why didn't the cat climb the Christmas tree?
Because it was well behaved.
It was afraid of the bark.
Oh, good one. Thank you.
Hope you're laughing at home. Friends, as we begin some music, this is a perfect time for you to call in, to make that pledge, to leave us a message, even if it's just Christmas greetings that you want to share with your church family. We'd love to be able to read that on the screen. And I'd love for Cheryl, our congregational care coordinator and discipleship spiritual formation coordinator, to take a call after our music time. So if you'd like to call on in and hang on the phone, and she'd love to talk to you on air.
I think we have a joke when the camera pans over. I think Tina has scrounged up a joke.
I don't know if you can hear me, but I have a joke. Are you ready? Can you hear Tina? Can you hear me? Okay. Yes. So, what do the elves use to clean Santa's sleigh on the day after Christmas? Sanitizer.
Right.
All right.
We're
Thank you,
pleased
Tina.
you're here, Tina.
All right, we're going to hear some more from Tina here.
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire, Jack Frost nipping at your nose, Yuletide carols being sung by a choir and folks dressed up like Eskimos. Everybody knows a turkey and some mistletoe help to make the season bright. Tiny tots with their eyes all aglow will find it hard to sleep tonight. They know that Santa's on his way. He's loaded lots of toys and goodies on his sleigh, and every mother's child is gonna spy to see if reindeer really know how to fly. And so I'm offering this simple phrase to
you.
Thank you, Tina. We'll hear from Mitchell next. I think. Hang on. Sorry. Wrong key.
Have yourself a merry little Christmas. Let your heart be light. Next year all our troubles will be out of sight. Have yourself a merry little Christmas. Make the Yuletide gay. Next year all our troubles will be miles away. Once again, as in olden days, happy golden days of yore. Faithful friends who are dear to us will be near to us once more. Someday soon we all will be together, if the fates allow. Until then we'll have a muddle through somehow. So have yourself a merry little Christmas now.
Christmas music, I could listen to them all night. If you want to come to my house and give me a private concert, I would be very appreciative. Maybe you can have some coffee. Thanks, everyone. As you can see, our phone lines are busy. Everyone's taking a call. It's very exciting. If you're trying to call and you're getting a busy signal, keep trying. I'm going to read off some more pledges while our answerers are taking calls. The Carnesali family called in with an anonymous gift. Thank you, Carnesalis, and they have a message. They would like to wish everyone a Merry Christmas from the Carnesali clan, and they would like to say that they love Zach's suit. And we all do love Zach's suit. Connie Bentivania called in with an anonymous gift. Thank you, Connie. Bethany Bauer-Haynes, who is Jasmine's mother, correct? Yes, called in with a $75 pledge. Thank you, Bethany. The McKeans called in with a $100 pledge. Thank you. That's going to go far. Pat Powers, she called in with an anonymous pledge. Thank you, Pat, for your generosity. And our very own Chuck and Tina Phillips. Tina is our singer up here with such a beautiful, powerful voice. They called in with a $100 pledge. So thank you, Chuck and Tina. Thank you, everyone, for all of your generous pledges. It's going to make such a positive impact in our community. Call in. I'd love to take a phone call and say hello and take your pledges. Keep calling in. We've got one line open, it looks like now, so keep calling in with those pledges. And I think our numbers are going up, and we've got Katie over here is on the phone. And is it okay if I take this call, Dewey? Okay. Thank you for calling Sanlando Christmas Telethon. This is Cheryl Bain. Who am I calling? Who's calling in, please? Hugh Moore, my buddy Hugh. Wonderful. We love to see Hugh up on the platform singing and playing guitar. Hugh, thanks for calling in today, Hugh. He's given me a Santa ho, ho, ho. Hugh, are you making a pledge tonight? Kathy and Hugh are making a pledge for $100. And I guess I have your permission to make that announcement because I just did. Oh, Hugh has a joke. Okay, let's hear it. Jonathan, are you ready for this joke? He's ready.
I'm ready.
He's ready. Who is the smallest person in the Bible?
I guess I have to, as much as I dislike saying it, I have to say Zacchaeus.
Is it Zacchaeus? No. Oh, sorry, you were wrong. It's Nehemiah.
Oh, Nehemiah.
Very clever, very clever.
Oh, leave it to those British. They got the best jokes. And a COVID vaccine, so hey.
All right, thanks so much for your pledge, Hugh and Kathy, of $100. Thank you very much. Bye-bye. Thanks for calling in, everyone. As you can see, our phones have been busy, but keep calling in and keep giving those pledges. It's making such a huge impact to our community. So I think now we're going to hand over to Katie.
Katie, thank you so much, Cheryl. Cheryl's our Director of Congregational Care and Spiritual Formation. And many people, as we pan the camera back to this side, just want to share a little bit about Cheryl. Many people in our congregation still have never seen or spoken with Cheryl in person because Cheryl started basically this position the first week of the pandemic. But she's jumped in and made a huge impact in our church. And so we're grateful for her tonight. And thank you so much to Hugh and Kathy for calling in and contributing to the telethon and speaking with Cheryl. We're coming back to our metric here, and Katie Hamilton is going to update us to approximately how much money we've raised so far.
So we are at around $8,000.
Woohoo! Awesome. So big time, big time. Thank you so much. That's amazing. So we're going to, thank you so much, Katie. As we celebrate that $8,000 mark, we're going to come back and hear for just a few more minutes from the organization that we've been speaking with, which is Empower. So Empower is a local organization right here in Longwood that meets all sorts of needs. But specifically tonight, we've been talking about one of the programs that Empower is known for in our congregation, which is the Village for Youth. You've talked a lot bit about before, earlier tonight, you've talked about the impact of just where the dollars go when they're given to Empower. But in case people have joined in, since you've shared some of those things, what does a $25 gift, what does a $50 gift, what does a $100 gift do? What kind of impact can that have at Empower?
Sure, $25. One of the things that, speaking specifically of the village, we forget that age group often around the holidays, and we give toys and stuff to kids, but then you have these teenagers or these young adults. So gas cards, food, Publix gift cards, Walmart gift cards, restaurant gift cards, the 25, 50, that's huge. From a therapeutic standpoint, it can be therapy. It can help pay for medication if some of the plans don't cover the medication. It can be a psychiatric visit. It can be clothes. It can be a birthday cake. It can be, if a young adult has their first apartment and we're helping them, maybe it's their first Christmas tree. There's so many different things that we could do with those dollars.
Yeah, that's so exciting, so exciting. One of the things that is kind of, maybe flies under the radar of our attention when it comes to working with young adults, people ages 18 to 23 that have aged out of the foster care system or that have found themselves dealing with substance abuse or mental health issues. One of the things that kind of flies under our radar is the need for young people to learn basic life skills such as cooking, personal finance and budgeting, how to write a resume, and how to present themselves well at an interview to get a job. Empower does those things. Those may seem like small things, but the reality is those things are life skills that a young person has to acquire and then build upon to have a successful future. Those kind of skills are not attained usually in that population of in-need people outside of a residential environment. Correct. So because Empower provides the village, which is a safe residential environment for these young people, they have access to them all the time, and that access helps to give them the opportunity for this teaching and for this training, which is so valuable. I remember when I went to college, and I'm waiting, I've been texting you, Mother. I don't know where you are. Call in. You've got the money. Make a pledge. Come on. I remember when I went to college, I had never done my own laundry before. And so when I opened my laundry hamper, when I moved into my dorm, there was a box, and I knew what the stuff was. There was laundry detergent, and then there was a box of dryer sheets that I could tell had already been perforated. And I opened the box of dryer sheets, and in there was a postcard with a famous saying that my mom must have put in there. Of course, she put it in there. That I taped to my wall in my dorm room my freshman year. And it said, and I hope I can quote it correctly, it said, "Be careful of your thoughts because your thoughts become your words. Be careful of your words because your words become your actions. Be careful of your actions because your actions become your habits. Be careful of your habits because your habits become your character. Be careful of your character because your character becomes your destiny." A small thing left in my dryer sheet box made a huge impact. There are many, many young people in our own relatively affluent Seminole County that do not have people in their lives to leave them those kind of notes in their dryer sheets. That sounds simple and that sounds trite, but the reality is those kind of things make a difference. For young people that have not had parenting or have had very sporadic parenting, Empower provides a place for them to learn in remedial ways the skills that are needed to get along in our world. I wonder if you can maybe share an impact story or a success story of a young person that your organization has served.
So I'm also known for crying during my own stories.
She's okay.
So I've almost lost it a couple times with you just talking. So one of the things I love most about my job prior to COVID was being able to spend time, particularly with some of the youth at the village. The resilience that those young adults, and my daughter's 33, so they're still kids to me, have. I mean, if you think about some of their backstories, we've had kids there with human trafficking history, with sexual abuse, drug use, mental illness. I mean, the things that they go through, you put all of us in this room together, probably they've gone through, one of them more than the majority of us.
Right.
So to see the resilience of these young folks to just rise above that. There was a young man that was from Seminole Youth, from Seminole County, and he never entered the foster care system, but when he made a little stint in it. But when he turned 18, his mother's, I think he was living with his aunt, and his aunt's husband told him he had to leave. And he was still in high school. He was playing football here at one of the high schools. And so the guidance counselor at the high school knew about our program, and his coach had him come to the village, and I took a special interest in him. He was just a good young man and fought everything we ever, just like any other teenager would, everything we tried to do. He had really bad teeth and needed an orthodontist. We found one that would help him. I drove him to his appointments. He learned how to drive in my car, and we just, he was one of those where they fight you back, but you know that they're listening. Long story short, he left the village, went out and got his own apartment. He got his AA from Seminole State, and he came back and actually was working at the village.
Wow, that's amazing.
He worked with us for quite a while as a transporter. He went on to get his degree at UCF in criminology.
Wow.
And he is now a case manager in the child welfare system.
That is so cool.
And just to watch, and when he was working at the village, he'd come, Miss Anna, they won't listen. And I would just laugh at him. I'm like, really, Anthony?
Sound familiar.
Sounds really familiar, like you don't listen. And but he's just, I'm beyond proud of him. Like you mentioned, that little note, you never know when you meet somebody, or whether it's in our Empower program or somewhere else, one little thing can stick with them for life and can change their world. I don't know if you've ever read the 5 People I Meet in Heaven by Mitch Albom. That's my favorite book, because the people that change your life aren't always the people you think will be those ones to do that. It could be a random taxi driver, it could be somebody just left a note, and that's what's so important. These kids have little to no examples in their life of a healthy family, a healthy relationship, learning how to deal with rejection in job interviews, and so many of them leave us and they still call us and asking for help, and we're still their support system.
That's great.
We're their family, and I always say it's probably my favorite program that we have. I love all that we do, but just the change that you can see in those young adults, and there's so many other stories like that.
Right. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for sharing all that, because that's so powerful. And as we live our daily lives, and running our errands, going to the store, going to work, to appointments, driving around, it's so easy for us in our busyness to forget that there are people in our own community, young people, that are facing obstacles that would make many, many of us just crumble. But Anna mentioned a word that is something very important when we're talking about this topic. She mentioned the word the resiliency of these young people. And God has made us to be resilient. Some people are a little bit naturally more resilient than others, but God has wired each one of us to be able to bounce back from trauma, to heal, to grow, and to learn through even intense obstacles. But people don't have the opportunity to do that unless there is somebody there to help them. So we have Empower right here in the city of Longwood and in Seminole County that is, that open door to, begin the conversation of, how can we move you from where you are, from the hand that life has dealt you, to where you want to go. And I think it's so amazing to hear stories of a young person, a young man, and others that have gone through the program and are now serving in the same type of industry, the same type of work, because it's really full circle. So I really congratulate you for that, and I know that that's kind of the steam that keeps you going. Beyond what we've shared tonight and what you've been able to tell us, what else do you want to leave us with as we go into this Christmas season?
If this past year has taught me anything, it's taught me the value of personal connections, personal touch, things that we take for granted so much. And I think what I really want everyone to know is, as crazy as the world is, and as everything that's going on in our life right now, you can make a difference. And it could be a pledge, it could be volunteering to teach a life skill, it could be, coming up and helping us paint a building. Those connections that we make are what make the world go round, and life is full circle. I mean, I've seen it over and over again, and for so many of us, how's the saying? But for the grace of God, go I. So many people are one paycheck away from some of the folks we serve, and to me, the spirit of right now is giving back and making that emotional, tangible difference that will change a person's life.
Amen. That's a beautiful way to end, and I love the metaphor of the personal touch, because that's really the personal connection, the personal touch to this community organization we really have with Jasmine in our congregation. And we're so grateful that Jasmine is on your team.
We are too.
I'm sure you are. You're very fortunate to have her. We know that she is and will continue to do great things. And one of those great things is that she will keep us as a local church and the other churches in the community that our church is connected with. She'll keep us in touch with the work of Empower, and she'll keep us, out there on the front lines, making a real difference in the lives of people that Christ was born to save. Amen. So thank you both for being here tonight. And as I let them transition away, I'm just, you'll stay put for now, but as I say goodbye to them, I just want to remind everybody that this has been Empower, which inspires life potential for young people, especially that have aged. We've been talking tonight, it was particularly in depth about young people that have aged out of the foster care system and that are in residential housing and learning all sorts of life skills to move them into a wonderful future. Contributions that will be shared with Empower will go to have a direct impact upon the young people right here in Seminole County that means so much to us. Tonight, if you're just tuning in, this is the Sanlando Christmas Telethon, where for 3 hours we are giving to 3 different organizations for one reason, which is that Christ was born. God sent his only son for us. And so we at Sanlando have a rich history of throughout the year, but especially at Christmas time, of giving directly to our local community. And with this pandemic year, many of you have not been able to go out and volunteer in the places that you normally would. And so we want to give you an opportunity to still make that impact. You can be totally confident that 100% of the pledges that you're making tonight will be going directly to the 3 organizations that we're serving. This is not a telethon that benefits the budget of Sanlando United Methodist Church in any way. This is a telethon that directly benefits those in need in our community, and so we're here to serve them. I hope that many of you watching are finding good connections with people in the Facebook stream as comments are made, and I hope that as you do, you're calling in and talking to our church members who are volunteering to staff the phone lines. One of the reasons for having this ministry tonight is to give people at home the opportunity to feel connected to our church family when so many of you have not been able to come to worship because of the pandemic. We have been praying for you. We care deeply about you, and we hope that this is another way that you're connecting. As you call in, I encourage you to leave us a message, leave us a note. And in addition to your name, if you'd like, and your pledge amount, if you'd like, I encourage you to leave us a message if there's something you'd like us to know about your family, if you've celebrated an anniversary or an important birthday, if you've had a new grandchild or child. We'd love to hear that. If you're anticipating a graduation or a new job, we'd love to share in your joy. And as you call in, you can leave that with the person answering the phone, and we'll be going over those notes in a little bit after our next musical break. So from right now, you're going to enjoy 3 songs from our Sanlando Worship Band. And following those songs, we will be hearing from our next and final organization of the evening, which is the Christian Sharing Center. 407-571-2100. Get those phones busy, people. I'm hearing too much silence back there. Get those phones busy. Call in. We need your support to make a difference for Christ. We'll see you in a little bit.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you both.
Good evening, everybody. Pastor JT, we've had a telegram from the North Pole. And it says here, why do Dasher and Dancer love coffee? Because they are Santa's Starbucks. Thanks, everybody.
All right. And we got some more from Hugh singing White Christmas.
I'm dreaming of a white Christmas, just like the ones I used to know, where the treetops glisten and children listen to hear sleigh bells in the snow. I'm dreaming of a white Christmas, with every Christmas card I write. May your days be merry and bright, and may all your Christmases be white. I'm dreaming of a white Christmas, just like the ones I used to know, where the treetops glisten and children listen to hear sleigh bells in the snow. I'm dreaming of a white Christmas, with every Christmas card I write. May your daydreams be merry and bright, and may all your Christmases be white, and may all your Christmases be white.
Thank you, Hugh.
Joy to the world, the Lord is come. Let earth receive her King. Let every heart prepare in room. Heaven and nature sing, and heaven and nature sing, and heaven and nature sing. Joy to the world, the Savior reigns. Let men their songs employ, while fields and floods, rocks and plains repeat the sounding joy, repeat the sounding joy, repeat the sounding joy. He rules the world with truth and grace, and makes the nations prove the glories of his righteousness, wonders of his love, and wonders of his love, and wonders of his love.
All right, I realized I forgot to tell my joke last time. What is a snowman's favorite food? Any ideas?
I don't know. What is a snowman's favorite food?
What is it?
Burritos.
And moving right along.
All right, we got one more.
Joke or song?
Song.
It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas everywhere you go. Take a look in the 5 and 10, glistening once again, with candy canes and silver lanes aglow. It's beginning to look a lot like a Christmas. Toys in every store, but the prettiest sight to see is the holly that will be on your own front door. A pair of hop-along boots and a pistol that shoots is Bonnie and Ben. Dolls that would talk and go for a walk is a hope of Janice and Jen. And Mom and Dad can hardly wait for school to start again. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. Ooh, everywhere you go. There's a tree in the Grand Hotel, a one in the park as well. The sturdy kind that doesn't mind the snow. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. Soon the bells will start, and the thing that will make them ring is the carol that you sing right within your heart.
All right. Anybody have another joke? I think Mitchell might.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Mitchell has a joke.
I have a joke. Yeah.
We got one
I
more
have a
joke before panning over. Go for it.
I heard this from Santa himself. Says, what kind of music do elves like best? Do we have any takers? Yeah. Any takers? No? Any guesses?
I don't know, Mitchell.
Rap music.
Rap music.
With a W.
I get it. W-R-A-P.
Over to Cheryl, quickly.
Very good, Mitchell. Very good. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. I'm Cheryl, our coordinator of congregational care and adult discipleship, and I'm here with Katie, our children's ministries director. We're some of the newest employees here at Sanlando. We're excited to be here with you tonight, and Katie's going to give us our 9 o'clock tally.
All right, as you can see at 9 o'clock, we are at $9,500. That is awesome, guys. Keep it up, though. Keep it up.
Yes, keep it up. And I'm going to announce some of our pledges, and I'm going to let Katie announce a very special pledge that we had come in.
All right, I had one of my splatters call in. Cooper, you pledged $20, so thank you, Cooper. All right, splatters, you got to do this too. Call in, ask for me, I'll answer the phone. I want to see more of my splatters on here.
Good job, Cooper. Thank you. All right, so Cindy Ashdown called in with an anonymous donation, and Cindy's asking for all of us to remember her family in your prayers. She has family in Idaho with COVID, so please pray that they recover quickly. We sure will do that, Cindy. Erica Holloway, the leader of our school here, she donated, pledged in $150. Thank you, Erica. We've got an anonymous pledge for $300. That's awesome. It will go far in helping us. Judith Moore pledged $100. Thank you, Judith. Katie Vanderhayden called in with an anonymous pledge. Thank you, Katie. Or Kay. Kay called in. Thank you, Kay. And then Judy and Tom Harris called in with an anonymous pledge. So thank you, Judy and Tom. And that's it for tonight, for this this roundup. And now Pastor Jonathan is coming back with another interview.
All right. Thank you so much, Cheryl and Katie. And as we come to the final hour of our 3-hour telethon, I want to thank you so much for those that are hanging with us, those that are continuing to watch. I know that you're probably tuning in, tuning out based upon what you've got going on this evening. And so we really appreciate that. Perhaps as we get to this part of the evening, many of you, if you're young families, your kids are in bed, they're all snuggled in and warm, and hopefully they're asleep by now. And you as the parents are having a little bit of downtime. So as you relax a little bit, perhaps even as you begin to lay down in bed and get ready to go to sleep, you've got your iPhone or your smartphone out and you are looking at Facebook or looking at our website and you're continuing to watch. And so this hour will be very good, and we ask that you continue to hang in there with us as we drive this fundraising goal, this fundraising evening home for a very successful victory. So listen, I have a special challenge as we begin this final hour, all right? So this is the last hour. People may be getting tired. Maybe you've already pledged, but you're thinking it's on your heart to pledge again, or you're wondering if you should give, if you can give. I want you to know that over the next, it's not even a full 30 minutes. By 9:30, I will personally match every gift up to $750. But you've got to make that gift by 9:30. I will personally match every gift up to $750, but you've got to make that gift by 9:30. So get those phones calling in and get them hot. We want to hear from you, all right? So as we continue on this evening, we come to our third and final organization that we're supporting, and want to remind you that all the gifts collected tonight are going 100% of them to be divided equally between the 3 organizations. So far, we've heard from the Community Hope Center, which is in Osceola County, doing great things. The last hour, we heard from Empower, which is right here in Longwood, doing awesome things. And our third and final organization is one that I know all of you are the most familiar with. This is the Christian Sharing Center, located right here in Longwood, and we know that the Sharing Center does awesome things. And so we have with us tonight Reverend Chris Ham, who is the development, make sure I get your title correctly. You are what's your title, Chris? Pick up that microphone and talk right into it, please. Yeah. We have
the development manager.
Development manager. So we have Reverend Chris, who is the development manager. You are relatively new to the Sharing Center, correct? So about how long have you been there, and what led you to that?
At 6 months.
6 months.
6 months. So I'm an expert at everything about the Sharing Center. No, I'm really not. But I'm from Orlando originally. We moved back here a couple years ago, my family and I. We live right down the street, and I get to drive by here. My kids came to VBS here a couple of years ago and had a blast.
Awesome.
And a lot of your church members are neighbors. I saw some of them earlier tonight. Ms. Barb was here earlier.
I hope they're nice to you.
So they are very nice. So, yeah.
Very cool. Well, as we begin, talking with you and the Sharing Center tonight, just tell us, for those that are unfamiliar, what is the mission statement and the scope of the work of the Sharing Center?
Thanks, Pastor. So the mission statement of the Sharing Center is we want to provide essential resources to those in need while we ensure dignity, while we reflect Christian generosity, and while we share God's love. And the Sharing Center was founded actually by one of your pastors.
Really?
Sanlando Methodist Church is one of our founding churches. They joined together 35 years ago with 16 other churches. We have 17 founding churches. They came together in the community and they said, we need help. We're struggling because people are coming to us that are homeless, that are hungry. We don't know what to do. We're feeling overwhelmed and overburdened. So these churches came together, which I think is kind of an amazing thing to have churches, because we have Catholic churches and Methodist churches and Presbyterian churches and Moravian churches that all came together and said they want to help our neighbors in need and respond to the love of Christ in our neighborhoods. So they came together and founded the Sharing Center. And we started out in Longwood with soon after we were founded, we hired a director. We gave her some clothes, some cash. They gave her some food and began to help the neighbors in need. Well, we've grown over the last 35 years. We're located right down the street, just north on 1792. If you just go east on 434, we're just about a mile north, not even that, up on 434 on the left-hand side, and we have the Sharing Center Plaza there.
Very awesome. Chris, if you don't mind, share your mic with Zach here for a second, because I invited Zachary Kralik to participate with us in this hour. Zach, as most of us know, is our Director of Youth and Young Adults here at Sanlando, and he is having an awesome impact upon his ministries and upon our entire congregation. And Zach knows kind of firsthand of some of the different opportunities for young people to get involved, to serve at the Sharing Center. What are some of the things that you've helped our church, our young people in our church to engage in the work of the Sharing Center with?
Yeah, we've been fortunate enough to volunteer at the Sharing Center for a number of years. Me personally, I've been a couple of years through a number of different events, and I think every time we're there, it's always something different. But in a good way, it's exciting. And I'll share one story. I had a student one time, one of the jobs that we had was sorting through older technology so that, if it worked, we could repurpose it for somebody. And one student had one of those old iPod shuffles where you have to spin it around, and they could not figure out how to use it. And it made me laugh because I realized, 10 years ago, it would have been easy to do, but now iPods don't do that. You don't have an iPod anymore, so your phone doesn't do that. I thought that was kind of funny. So we got to do a lot of different opportunities to share, just doing ministry where the students kind of feel like they can, serve in that area. A couple weeks ago, we had a couple of students come out and help basically put up a tent for one of the events, and that was really exciting. We had a couple of strong guys come out and do that, but it doesn't always have to be that. Sometimes it's sorting clothes, sorting sunglasses we've done before, which is kind of fun. A lot of different opportunities that we've had that we've been willing to do it, and I'm thankful for our students being willing to come to participate every year and to come out and really be able to serve with such a great attitude that they have. And all the volunteers at the Sharing Center are really great, awesome, courteous to us. So we've always had a really, I'm always excited to go. I'm very excited. And so every time we get to do that, every time we have an opportunity to go and serve, it's always something new. Never know what it's going to be, but I kind of like that because you never know what you're going to get into. And but all the things, I think we walk away feeling like this was meaningful that we've done. And we've also learned something I think our students have, just about themselves.
That is so cool. Thank you, Zach, for sharing that. Zach has really painted a picture of the diversity of opportunities that there are for people of all ages to participate in performing the physical ministry that happens at the Sharing Center. And so with that picture painted, Chris, tell us generally and specifically about the clientele that you serve and about the needs of that population.
Thanks, Pastor.
And be sure you hold that mic right to your mouth.
All right. Thanks, Pastor. I was trying to do the distancing because we were sharing the microphone.
Sorry.
So we serve generally a population called the ALICE population. And ALICE is someone that, all of us know. ALICE stands for Asset Limited Income Constrained Employed Individuals. Probably about 1 in 4 families in Seminole County are considered ALICE families. These are families that are living paycheck to paycheck or one paycheck right away from some kind of an emergency where they're struggling. And so we see these families every single day that come to us looking for help. We do a lot of food assistance. In fact, over the last 12 months, we gave away about 66,000 bags of groceries.
Wow.
And that's to Seminole County residents right here in our local community. We also provide rent and utility assistance for families. And so what we do is we help families and kind of stand in the gap if we can. If they're struggling, they're hurting, they come to us. We can help them with rent and utility and other financial assistance. We also operate the only homeless day site in all of Seminole County. So what that is homeless men and women can come to us. In the morning, they charge their phones up. They can take a shower. We'll do their laundry for them. Pre-COVID, they could come get a haircut, They need new clothes, they can get that. They can get a meal, and they can get some food to go, and then head on out and throughout wherever they're going to be the rest of their day. We see about 1,500 people every month that come through our doors, and we are definitely seeing a marked increase over a year ago for the families that were being served. In our shopping center, our plaza, we also have a business unit. We operate a thrift store and a boutique and a furniture store. And so anyone can come shopping. Many of y'all have come shopping in our stores, I know. And we appreciate that because whenever you shop, it gives back. About 90% of every dollar that we raise in our store goes back into our programming to help the families in need that are directly here in our community. But also on top of that, we're also able to give out vouchers to families because one of the things that we really believe in is dignity. So we want families to be able to shop in our stores. So we'll give them a voucher if they're hurting and struggling so they can go into our store, use a voucher, and get some of their essential items that they need while ensuring some of their dignity and really being the hands and feet of Christ.
That is so cool. I know many in our congregation volunteer in our thrift store, in your thrift store. I call it ours because I feel like it's just our community. We're all a part of it. It's so natural to say our thrift store because it's our Christian Sharing Center. We as churches started it together. That's its heritage, and we continue to move it forward and allow it to advance its mission and accomplish its goals. Before the pandemic, I enjoyed dropping by the Sharing Center randomly, especially on Wednesdays, because I would see so many of our church members volunteering in there. I hope that as you're watching and listening at home, if you are one of those members that is not currently volunteering because of the pandemic, I hope that you'll feel like this hour is specifically helping to honor just the time and the commitment that you put in throughout the year. I know several of our people are back to volunteering and doing great things there. People like Reverend Chris mentioned, like Barb Dixon, who causes all sorts of trouble up there. She loves to volunteer with her mother, and I know her mom's not been able to go because she lives in a senior living community and hasn't been able to leave because of the pandemic. But Chris, think for a moment about the world that we're all working toward, which is a post-pandemic world. And besides dollars, what are some of the ways that individuals in our community can know more about what's going on at the Sharing Center and participate?
All right, thanks, Jonathan. You can always check out our website, thesharingcenter.org, check out our Facebook page, check out our LinkedIn, our Twitter. All of that are great places to check out. We've actually got a couple Facebook pages. We have one for our store and our regular Facebook page. Once we move into this post-pandemic world, we need volunteers. We have about 1,700 volunteers that help us regularly.
Wow.
And a lot of them have not been able to come. And so we're still keeping our doors open. So we hope to get volunteers that can come back and can help us out on a regular basis or a special need basis, come out on a Saturday. You know, high school students, you can get your Bright Future hours. You can come to us and get your Bright Future hours. And we can put you to work over Christmas break or spring break or summer break or Wednesdays after school. We'd love to help out some of those students with that. We also need donations of goods because our thrift store, we did about $1 million a year ago in sales, and 90% of that went back into the store, into the programmings that we serve. So we always need donations. Our donation alley is open from 10 to 2, Monday through Saturday. We'd love to take your donations. And, we're all hoping and praying that as this vaccine comes out, that folks will be able to return to whatever the new normal looks like, and we can get a lot more new volunteers coming in. Because, as I spent almost 2 decades as a pastor throughout the South and the Midwest, and I always looked for agencies like the Sharing Center that I could partner with to be able to refer folks to that are in need if they need help, and places where we can work. And, it's such a joy for me to get to see lives changed every single day at the Sharing Center.
That is so awesome. One of the great gifts of the Sharing Center is that because a lot of not only are the volunteers a lot local to our local community, but many of the staff are as well. I know Reverend Chris and his family live in our local community and serve the population. And I call her new, even though she's been there for, how long has Nina been at the Sharing Center?
Almost 2 years.
Almost 2 years. So with COVID, time has been kind of a time warp here, but Nina Yan, who is the current and very successful CEO of the Christian Sharing Center, is actually a regular attender here at Sanlando, and she's registered for our new members class, which begins in January. And so we're really excited about that. She's a member presently at St. Luke's United Methodist Church, which is a far drive from here in Windermere. And so we're so grateful for just the close connection that we have with the whole organization. Friends, I put to you a challenge at the beginning of this hour that has to be fulfilled by 9:30, and I think it's been fulfilled. So I challenged that I would personally match dollar for dollar gifts made in that 30 minutes up to $750, and apparently that has got a few of you off your duffs and on the phones. Amen? So we heard from the beautiful Carolyn Tarman from Jetmore, Kansas. That's my mother, has given a gift of $100. So thank you, Mom. We heard from Nancy and Ron Kinney, who are sitting here in the sanctuary. I think they're going to take calls in a few minutes. We heard from Nancy and Ron Kinney, who have given a public gift of $100. So thank you to the Kinneys. And the Kinneys, I might add, are regulars at the Sharing Center, correct? Volunteering and doing things there. So thank you for that. We have an anonymous gift of $100 that went to meet my challenge. I see that Jill Moras has given a publicly made gift of $200 to help meet the challenge. So thank you to Jill very much. Nathaniel Johnson, there you are, my friend. You've called in with a public gift of $50 pledge to help meet the challenge. So thank you so much, Nathaniel. Dorothy Larson has called with an anonymous amount, but it has gone to meet the challenge. So thank you, Dorothy, for calling in. Dave Morgan, who is actually operating the phones for this half hour, has called in with a publicly made pledge of $100 to help meet the challenge. So thank you to Dave. And Julie, his wife, is also on the phone. So they're not talking to anybody right now. We've got Nicole, Dave, and Julie on the phones. We need those phones to ring, people. We're winding down. This is our final hour, and we've done really well, but we want to go out with a bang, so keep those phones calling. Kirsten Germana has called in with a gift of a $100 pledge. So thank you, Kirsten. Hope that you and your husband and children are all doing well. Enjoy seeing all your things on Facebook. So thank you for being a part of our church family. We've got an anonymous person that called in with a $75 gift. So thank you to that person. And we have a gift from a business, a company called Paws Abound. Paws, P-A-W-S, like animal paws. Paws Abound for $150. So if anyone has any more information about that, you can pass me a note. But thank you to Paws Abound for $150. That is so awesome. Chris and Zach are going to hang on tight for a second while we switch to a musical interlude of a couple songs, and then we're going to hit an update on the board and with the phones. Thank you, and keep calling in. 100% of your donations during this we're approaching our final 30 minutes, go, like the others have, equally divided between the three organizations that we're serving tonight, and we're so thankful tonight to be able to talk with Reverend Chris from the Sharing Center. Let's hear some music.
All right, I have another joke for you guys. Mitchell, what did the wise men say after they offered up their gifts of gold and frankincense?
I don't know. What did they say?
Wait, there's myrrh.
Yeah, let's just sing.
Yeah, play the piano, Amy.
Chestnuts roasting
on an open fire. Jack Frost nipping at your nose. Yuletide carols being sung by a choir, and folks dressed up like Eskimos. Everybody knows a turkey and some mistletoe help to make the season bright. Tiny tots with their eyes all aglow will find it hard to sleep tonight. They know that Santa's on his way. He's loaded lots of toys and goodies on his sleigh. And every mother's child is gonna spy to see if reindeer really know how to fly. And so I'm offering this simple phrase to kids from 1 to 92. Although it's been said many times, many ways, Merry Christmas to you. And so I'm offering this simple phrase to kids from 1 to 92. Though it's been said many times, many ways, Merry Christmas. Oh, Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you. Merry Christmas.
All right, Tina.
Well, I don't want to break the spell, but I have another joke.
Oh, boy.
Okay. I should have put my glasses on. Okay, I think I can do it. Where does mistletoe go to get famous?
I don't know. Where does mistletoe go to get famous?
Oh, I'll tell you. Hollywood.
Oh.
Thank you.
Very nice. All right, we'll hear from Tina.
Next one, Ron.
Have yourself a merry little Christmas. Let your heart be light. Next year, all our troubles will be out of sight. Oh, have yourself a Yuletide gay. Next year, all our troubles will be miles away. Oh, here we are, back in golden days, happy golden days of yore. Faithful friends who are dear to us will be near to us once more. Someday soon we'll all be together if the fates allow. Until then, we'll have to muddle through somehow. So have yourselves a merry little Christmas now. Merry, Merry Christmas.
All right, guys, thank you for tuning back in, and thank you for that lovely music. I have our 9:30 total, and guys, we are at $10,500 at 9:30. We have 30 more minutes, so let's keep those calls coming. We want to do this. We can do this. We can go higher. I have more marker to fill up, so please let me fill it. All right, and here's Cheryl.
Thanks, Katie. Tina, now your face lit up when we mentioned Paws Abound. It seems like that has a special place in your heart.
Thank you for asking. Yes, my daughter owns Paws Abound. My daughter, Marcy
Yay.
Phillips. Thank you, Marcy. I love you, and I'm so proud of you.
Thank you. Marcy is your daughter's name? Yes. Thank you,
Marcy.
Marcy, for your generous pledge. We really appreciate it. And Paws Abound, a cute group pet grooming place, right? And on Fairbanks.
Yes, they do pet grooming. She has a retail store. They do a doggy daycare, dog grooming, dog training, and dog walking.
Wow, awesome. And that's in Winter Park, Fairbanks and Winter Park. Thanks, Marcy at Paws Abound. We have a couple more pledges here. Bob White called in with an anonymous pledge. Thanks, Bob. Appreciate your generosity. And Michael and Donna Garlick called in with a $150 pledge. Thanks, Donna. Donna has been our church secretary here for a long time, and we're trying to keep her around as long as we can. I think I heard that Jim Wright was on the phone making a pledge not too long ago, so thanks to Judy and Jim for their pledge. Really appreciate it. And now for our final half hour, we got 30 minutes left, guys. So call in and make this let's finish strong with our pledges, our final 30 minutes. And now we're passing it back over to Pastor Jonathan.
Thank you, Cheryl. Thank you, Katie. As we hand the handheld mic back, would somebody mind bringing up a display? Oh, you got it. You're taking care of it. Thank you so much. My friends, we are doing an awesome job. We are at 10,500, but yet pledges are still coming in. We've got a new bank of callers. We want to thank Dave and Julie Morgan as they leave. Thank you for taking calls. They're headed out, but we've got a new crew back there. We've got Jay Downing manning the phones. We've got Nancy Kinney, and we've got Ron Kinney. They want to hear from you, people. We are up late. We are working hard to make the biggest impact that we can in our community this Christmas as Sanlando United Methodist Church. I want to thank you all for being so generous. At the beginning of the hour, I put to you a challenge for $750 that I would personally match, and you called in and you met those. And so thank you so much for doing that. There is at least two other interesting challenges to meet this evening that I want to put to you for this last half hour. So listen up. So For the next person that calls in to make a $300 pledge, that person will get the benefit of having, next to professional, Jay Downing install and take down their Christmas lights next Christmas. So, isn't that amazing, Jay? Thank you for your kindness. Putting up Christmas lights puts everybody in a good mood to have them up, but it's, for some of us, we don't like to do it ourselves. Jay Downing is award-winning, literally, in neighborhoods for his Christmas light work. You have to provide the Christmas lights, but next year, Jay Downing will put them up and take them down after Christmas to the next person who calls and makes a $300 pledge. My friends, you can't beat this, all right? I've seen Jay's work. It's amazing. That's one. The second that we're also excited to announce is that the next person that calls in with a $200 pledge gets to go to an all-expense and reasonably expense, an all-expense paid dinner at No-No's Italian restaurant with none other than Mitchell Clavins. You authorized this. Mitchell, come please. The next person, and I'm buying, I won't be there though, give Mitchell my credit card. The next person that calls in with a $200 pledge gets to go to a dinner on me at No-No's Italian restaurant with this. All right? Equal opportunity, a woman or a man, 200, over 18.
I do have a preference.
He has a preference, but it's open to anybody. Nothing romantic, just a dinner with the worship leader. It will cost you it'll cost me at least $100 for the dinner. So it'll cost you $200 and you get an all-expense paid dinner with Mitchell Clavins. Are you excited?
Sure. Yeah.
Get excited.
No-No's is my favorite. So.
No-No's is his favorite restaurant. So we have dinner with Mitchell and we have Christmas lights from Jay Downing. And I'm just wondering why the phones aren't ringing off the hook, people. Don't come complaining to me next year when your Christmas lights look terrible because you didn't have them professionally installed by Jay. And don't come, oh, there we go. There we go. And don't sit on my couch moping around because you don't have a hot date for Saturday night. You can always call in and go to dinner at No-No's with Mitchell. Chris, we're here, we're revisiting all this. We're here with Reverend Chris Ham, who's the development manager at the Christian Sharing Center, an organization here in Longwood that we're all so well familiar with. Chris, the Sharing Center does awesome things on a daily basis, but I wondered if you could share with us a little snippet of some impact that you have in the community. Share with us kind of maybe an impact story of the people that you serve.
So, great question. I can't really top all of the Christmas lights and the dinner because I had to take you to McDonald's. But, so soon after this summer, I was really privileged. I got to meet a family that came to see us. They actually were clients of ours 4 years ago. They had been living in Venezuela. The mother was working for the government, and some things were happening that she was very uncomfortable with. And so one night, she and her husband and her daughters got on an airplane, came up to America, and ended up here in Orlando, Seminole County area. They were on the bus speaking Spanish, and someone said, hey, you need to go check out the Sharing Center. So they came to the Sharing Center 4 years ago. And they met with one of our client service people, and one of the first questions they asked was, where'd you sleep last night? And the lady kind of sheepishly answered, well, we have an apartment, but we slept on the floor. Well, we quickly were able to outfit their entire apartment with sofas and beds and dishes and linens and everything they needed. We got the kids their school supplies that next time, so we were able to outfit them everything. Well, I'm going to fast forward to now, 4 years later. The family's come back to make a donation to us, and start volunteering.
Wow.
They're living in Heathrow. The husband has a job as a director of a maintenance at a large hotel here in town, and the girls are in school over in Heathrow. Mom's a stay-at-home mom, and they're able to break that cycle because we were able to help stand in the gap and really make a difference in their lives. And I'm also proud because recently one of the other clients we serve is the homeless population. And there's a gentleman who'd been coming to us. He comes 3 or 4 times a week. He comes and he takes a shower, he gets his laundry done, and he lives on the streets. But I remember it was about a month ago, I ran into him and I said, "Hey, Samuel, how you doing?" He said, "You know, Chris, I've had the best sleep I've had in 3 years because I finally got housing and I slept in my own bed." And he said, "Thanks to y'all for helping me with that."
Wow.
And I thought to myself, that's why I do what I do, is I get to see an impact and I get to see the hands and feet of Christ every single day. When folks come up and get bags of groceries to feed their children and how grateful they are. And some of y'all have seen that because you're there with us at some of our distributions, or when you came out for our homeless meal right before Thanksgiving, we got to serve about 300 folks, and just the joy and the gratitude on their faces when we're able to impact them, which for many of us is something minor. It's a bag of groceries, it's a $10 gift card, or it's some furniture that's maybe come out of our house that we're able to bless a family with. But for some of our families, it makes a huge difference and changes their lives. And so we're just grateful for God that we have the privilege to be able to work with these families and these individuals here in our Seminole County community.
That is so cool. Yeah. One of the great things about the, Cheryl's got an update for us here. One of the great things about the Sharing Center that both Zach and Reverend Chris have really hammered home for us tonight is that they have volunteers opportunities for people of all ages. And I have been, before COVID, I have been on one of the Friday night volunteering situations with one of my daughters who's been old enough to help volunteer, and we packed grocery bags with food that had been donated or purchased from the food bank, grocery bags to be bagged up to given to people. And Zach has mentioned opportunities where youth can serve. Of course, we've talked about the adults in our congregation who go there and serve. And Chris told a story about a family who came to them for help. I mean, it was a family with children, and now the family is all giving back and volunteering and serving there. And I think of the scripture, train up a child in the way that they should go, and when they're old, they will not depart from it. And that's what we love about Christian ministry and serving people in Christ's name, is that it comes full circle. We many of us may not be in physical need of food or housing, things like that in this moment, but yet we all have needs in our lives that have to be met. And when we go and serve and volunteer, we recognize, what needs we do have. We recognize our own poverty, and we connect to Christ through our own spirituality. When we're able to serve and give back, we're grateful for our blessings. When people come to receive the services of the Christian Sharing Center, they come just like we do. They have all sorts of needs, but one of the most pressing things that they have is the need for the things that we can provide. And so they involve people of all walks of life and all ages in doing that. So we're just so grateful for that. The reality is that most people, when we think first about giving, especially at Christmas, we think about the people that are right immediately in need around us in our local city and county. And that's what I love about the Sharing Center. They are the hands and feet of Christ right here for the people in need. When you interact with somebody who's in need in the community, whether you see that person outside of a grocery store, or maybe just if you're on a walk or on a jog and you see a person in a park who's in need, one of the things that you should always work into the conversation when you're talking with them is about the Christian Sharing Center and how to get there, because they will provide needs. One thing that we do as a church, and I know other churches in our city do this, is that when people call to seek assistance, one of the first places we often refer them to is the Sharing Center. And we can call, I as the pastor, Cheryl as congregational care can call directly and refer services and see if they're appropriate. And so your dollars, your donations go directly to well thought out intentional help, help that doesn't hurt, help that doesn't provide a crutch, but help that provides a pathway to success, like the family that he mentioned that now lives in Heathrow. So that's just so awesome. I smiled when Cheryl brought me this pledge update because, Mitchell, we have a taker, all right? This is exciting. This is really exciting. Mitchell, you will be going to dinner at No-No's on me with Pam and Myron Richardson. So this is great. Pam and Myron, thank you so much for your generosity. You have met the $200 challenge, and so you get to go to No-No's. And I'm telling you, 2/3 of the community is now jealous of you. The other third has already been on a date with Mitchell, all right? No, I'm teasing Mitchell. So, Mitchell, you've got a lot to look forward to. Pam and Myron, thank you for your generosity. Pictures on Facebook, we will require that, all right? So that'll be a nice dinner. I've noticed I haven't been rushed a card for the Christmas lights yet, so we need to get that settled, people. We have 13 minutes left in our telethon, and as I drive around some of the neighborhoods where I presume you live, I see some subpar Christmas decorations, okay? Jay Downing promises to bring those up to first class. So if you're struggling with your Christmas lights and you thought, you know what, you're not going to get on that ladder for one more year, there's a ringer. Hopefully it's ringing. Some of you are growing older. It's maybe not safe to get out there on that ladder. Next year you could have the Christmas lights in the bag, all right, with Jay Downing. So, Zach, I wondered if you wanted to take the mic for a second and, ask Chris anything that maybe you've been thinking of, especially maybe related to how the Sharing Center has had to adapt to COVID and how we could learn more.
Yeah, Chris, one question Jonathan's been asking that I really like, because I think it's so tangible, is he asks, what is $20? How does that make a difference? How does $50 make a difference? How does $100? And so on, just to kind of show, when you donate, sometimes it feels like you're throwing $25 out into the abyss or, wherever it goes. You're like, well, I hope this makes a difference. But it's different when you kind of paint the picture of this is what $25 looks like. This is what $50 looks like. So could you paint that picture for us?
Absolutely. So $25 will provide a bus pass for a homeless person for a month. They'll be able to have a bus pass. $25 can also provide a new pair of shoes for a child. We do about 1,500 pairs of shoes a year. We buy them gift cards. We've got a great program called Bless Our Souls, where we help out young people every year. $50 will pay a family's water bill for a month that they're behind on. $100 will be an electricity bill for them that we can really help them out. And $1,000, well, that can provide 1 month's rent for a family in need. So those all help, and I'm so grateful to Sanlando and the giving community here. You have richly blessed us over these 35 years, and I know you're going to continue to bless us. Pastor, one of the things I haven't shared yet, my prayer is every morning that we're going to go out of business.
Yep.
I pray that we're going to go out of business because that means that every mouth is fed and that there's nobody living on the streets of our community. But Jesus also told us that the poor will always be with us. So we're always going to have those folks who are in need. But until then, we stand in the gap and we try to help folks out. We try to serve them. We love in Christ's name. And, in this season of giving and receiving, we've all received the greatest gift, and that's the gift of life through Jesus. And so we're grateful for the gifts that you guys are giving right now. And I don't see a lot of phone calls, but we're hoping to have them come in. And I thought about those Christmas lights, to be honest with you. So I don't want to take mine down. So, yeah, but.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you for that. I'm going to get an update pretty soon on our pledges, and I know we're 10 minutes to. People are pointing. Oh, I'm needed on the phone, so we're going to pan back to the phone. I've got a phone call. Somebody wants to speak with me. This is exciting. I'm kind of scared. Hold for the sanitization of the phone. We need to get these donations in. We have 10 minutes left, so we want to update our board so that we can get you off the telethon as close to 10 o'clock as possible. So be sure you're calling in. Hello. Okay, Oh, Lord. Okay. So I've got an anonymous group, I should say, calling, and it sounds like a rather hostile group, which, as a pastor, I know that's not unusual in the church. Sounds like a rather hostile group, and they want to challenge Pam and Myron's bid for Mitchell. And so what they'd like to outbid Pam and Myron by $10. Now this proposition would seek to break the terms that I've already set. So I'm a little. I'll buy the dinner. 2 dinners. I'll buy the dinner. Second one. Ooh. Okay. Oh, they want Pam and Myron to go too, but what if Jim Cross, our financial stewardship chair, is now offering to personally buy the dinner, but not for 12 people. Well, he'll pay the other half. Pam and Myron, if you're listening, I'm talking to the hostile people. Pam and Myron, if you're listening, can you want to call in and negotiate this, or would you allow them to join in for $210 and go with you? What do you say? I say hostile. It sounds like a fun group. Sounds like it is a fun trio. Things are getting strange. But yes, well, anyway, here I am.
Let's take the $210.
We'll take you. I will sell you a second date with Mitchell for $210. Oh gosh, the phone. Okay. Please hold. Hello. You accept all challenges. Do you want a solo date with Mitchell, or do you want the group to join in? Okay. I won't repeat what he said. Okay, they accept the challenge. And so the negotiation is that the trio gets to join in on the date with Mitchell if they pay $210. All right, sold. And Jim Cross is paying half the ticket. So there you go. All right, Myron, thank you. Any last parting gift for us? We're doing a great job. Good, thank you. All right. Well, my best to your family. All right. Well, this has been fun. Yes, we're celebrating that. So Mitchell's dinner at No No's has expanded, and that will be exciting. And so the total benefit was $410. Oh Lord, we're 5 minutes to the hour, and I've got a couple updates here, but I want to get this one out right away. We all know our good friend and fellow laborer in Christ, Adam Holloway, who is our audiovisual lighting tech. Adam will shave his legs. This is getting kind of out of control, but he'll do it. Adam will shave his legs for the next $200 pledge. I don't know what benefit this gives anybody in the congregation, but Adam will shave his legs for the next $200 pledge. So we have someone to accept the light challenge. So the lights that are being put together by Jay Downing, that pledge for $300 came in, and that's Daryl and Kitty Cannon. So thank you so much, Daryl and Kitty, for accepting that. Very good. We have another public pledge from Duffy Water for $100. So we're very grateful. Thank you so much, Duffy. That's amazing. Oh, great. Good to hear from you, Lori Bedford. We have a public pledge from Lori Bedford. She's one of our youth volunteers. She's so active in Vacation Bible School. She just does so much for our church. She's pledged $50. So thank you, Lori Bedford. We're so grateful for that. And last but not least, for my hand right now, we have a public pledge from Jim and Judy Wright for $100. So thank you to Jim and Judy for the $100 pledge. So I'm going to trade views here, and I'm going to go back to the front and share some appreciation for everybody that's been helping tonight and volunteering. As I transition to the front, I'll let the band take their place, and they won't play yet, but I'm gonna say a few words before they do start to play. But as we do wrap up to a close, we're going to update the board soon after the 10 o'clock mark. So the band will play a song so that we can have some time to update the board. Stick with us because we want to know how we finally came in tonight. But as we do wrap this hour up, I really want to share our appreciation with Reverend Chris, who's come from the Christian Sharing Center. Every donation that has been made tonight is being split equally between the Christian Sharing Center, Empower, and the Community Hope Center of Osceola County. And Chris has been with Zach and I for this last hour, representing the great work that the Christian Sharing Center does. We're so grateful for them in our community, and we know even beyond this pledge drive that you have a special place in your heart for the Christian Sharing Center, and you'll continue to volunteer and to give. Chris, any closing words for us?
We just want to say thank you so much. We're really appreciative to all of the saints here at Sanlando. You helped found us 35 years ago, and you've been faithful supporters and volunteers. And we thank you, so you allow us to work as partners with you in our ministry together. Our ministry is important, and we love every single one of you. And we can't say thank you enough. So thank you, Pastor Jonathan. Thank you, everybody here at Sanlando. We look forward as we move forward to a lot of our volunteers being able to come back and continue to serve. And we're just grateful to y'all. So thank you so much for letting us be a part of this fantastic, fun night. It's been a lot of fun for me, so thank you.
Thank you, thank you. I want to transition to our closing song, our closing set of music, and that'll give us time to tally our closest to final number as possible for the evening to report to you shortly after 10 o'clock.
All right, we have one final closing song for you guys, and it is We Wish You a Merry Christmas.
Wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Good tidings we bring to you and your kin. Good tidings for Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Now bring us some figgy pudding.
Now bring us some figgy pudding. Now bring us some figgy pudding and a cup of good cheer. We won't go until we get some. We won't go until we get some. We won't go until we get some. So bring it right here. Good tidings we bring to you and your kin. Good tidings for Christmas and a Happy New Year. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas.
Let's as we close and share our final report for tonight. First, I want to give a special thank you to our worship band for this evening. So let's give them another hand. If you're at home, give the wave in the comments. We're so grateful for, we have Amy McCutcheon, who is our Director of Worship and Music at Sanlando. We have Hugh Moore, who is a routine volunteer musician with us. We're so grateful for his membership in our church. We have Mitchell, of course, so we're so thankful for his leadership. And we've got Tina with us tonight, so thank you for staying for this whole evening. We have, of course, help up in our audiovisual lighting booth. And so this evening we've had with us our two workers up there, Justin Bethel and Adam Holloway. Thank you both so much for your awesome work and contributions and those that have volunteered to help you tonight. We've had one person here this evening who has helped to receive all of the volunteers, which included the people that ran the phones, the phone bank. And so that was Jill Moras. So we're thankful for that, for her, and for that role that she served. Tonight with us, doing the official tallies and counting to make sure that everything has been great is our resident CPA, the chair of our finance team, which is Jim Cross. So we're grateful to have Jim. I know you can't see them, but I want to acknowledge them. I want to give a special thank you to all of the church staff. So we've had Cheryl doing much work in preparations for tonight. We've had Zach with us doing much work in preparation. We've had Katie, our Director of Children's Ministries, up with us. And we've had Judy Wright, who I want to give a special appreciation to for putting the administration of all of this together. We've had Jay and Nicole Downing volunteering the entire evening. So they've been helping do tallies and leave notes and different things. So I know let's give them appreciation, yes. I know I'm leaving people out because that's what happens when you start doing names, but have I gotten most of the names of the people? And of course, there were many people that were on the phones that I have rotated every 30 minutes that I haven't been able to name, but we know who you are, and we're so grateful for your volunteering. And thank you to those that have called in and pledged to contribute to this awesome work. Katie, what do we have?
All right, our closest to final count is $12,585.
Yes,
you guys are awesome.
That is amazing. $12,585. We'll, of course, continue to receive pledges for the telethon that you can make, but we're really appreciative for those that have made them tonight. This is an awesome triumph. When we set out at the beginning of this planning to wonder how this Christmas season we were going to be able to impact our community, given the distancing of COVID, we thought this would be a wonderful way to connect the congregation and hear from many of you, and that seems like it's totally been the case. I hope that tonight, through the music, through the messages that you've had from the people that have represented the three organizations, and through the connection you've had with watching with your church family online, you felt a certain nostalgia about the tradition of Christmas, which is that it's more blessed to give than to receive. We are so grateful that you're a part of our church family. We're grateful that you've reached out to your friends. We're grateful that you've taken the opportunity to just watch and especially to call and to commit some of your precious resources for God's work right here in our local community. It is such a privilege to serve you as our congregation. And we've had you in mind this entire pandemic season. We've been praying for you, and we've been really doing our best to connect with you and to connect you in mission for Christ. So thank you for helping just bring that joy to our lives as we see this successful fundraiser come to pass. And thank you so much that each one of the three organizations will now receive over $4,000 in support because of what you've done. God bless you. We look forward to seeing you, whether it's in person at one of our Christmas Eve worship services or online. We covet those opportunities to connect with you. This year we have 4 Christmas Eve worship services. One is on December 23rd at 7 o'clock. And on Christmas Eve, December 24th, we have 3. Those are at 3, 5, and 7. Go to our website, which is sanlando.org, and across the top banner, you'll find a link to RSVP so that we can save a seat for you. We continue to pray for you, and we're here as your pastor and staff and lay leaders to assist you in any way possible. We pray that you have a very Merry Christmas, and that the year 2021 will be a blessed one for you that brings changes that we all need. We love you, and good night.